I'll call this Bang Bang. Seriously?
Bang, bang.
I will fuck you up. I will beat your ass.
Bang, bang.
I will fuck you up. Pull up, bitch.
Bang, bang.
I will fuck you up. I will beat your ass.
Bang, bang.
I will fuck you up.
Objection. Objection.
Bang, bang.
I will fuck you up. KO. Bang bang.
Bang, bang.
I will fuck you up. You're a bitch, bro.
Bang, bang.
I will fuck you up. I will beat your ass.
Bang, bang.
I will fuck you up. Right?
Yeah.
The bang bang, the bang bang, pull up. The bang bang, the bang bang, pull up.
Bang, bang.
Right?
Yeah.
The bang bang, the bang bang, pull up. The bang bang, the bang bang.
Bang, bang. Bang, bang. Bang, bang.
All right, Mr. Lally, your next witness, please.
Yes, Your Honor, the Commonwealth will call Trooper Michael Proctor to the stand. State your name and spell your last name for the jury.
Michael Proctor, Proctor.
You're a bitch, bro.
Bang, bang.
I will fuck you up. I will beat your ass. I will fuck you up.
I'm going to allow it.
Bang, bang.
I will fuck you up. I will beat your ass. I will fuck you up.
I'm going to allow it.
Bang, bang. Bang, bang.
Welcome to the Weekend Live Show.
508 is where I'm from.
We run down the biggest stories of the week with you every Saturday night. Let us know in the comments right now where you reppin'.
Apache Junction, Taunton, Worcester, Long Island, Manchog, South Florida, Webster, Malden, Framingham, Tucson, Wichita, Billerica, Salem, Gloucester, Moosop, Connecticut, Charleston, South Carolina, Roslindale, Moosop, Connecticut, London, Hanson, Glendale, Arizona, Lynn, Mapleville, Quincy.
Food stands, leave your clothes, buddy, and bake them with
You a funny ass guy, man.
508.
Have you ever heard of Turtleboy? Yeah? Are you a fan?
508 is where I'm from.
Hey, what's up?
508 is where I'm from.
How was that?
You a freaking idiot. Stop telling people that I'm mentally deranged and stupid.
Call me Aidan. He's not a doctor, but...
Get out of my store, please.
You're a fucking loser.
You are a loser.
You're not a journalist. You're nobody. You're not turtle hair. Don't make such fun of the criminal justice system.
NFL on the house, blog that.
Let's get this.
And I will not be intimidated. I will not be silenced. And we will continue on our journey for justice for John O'Keefe and for Karen Reed.
Tick, tick, boom. Boys, go baby, we bringing out toys. Boys, chopper be singing, should be on the voice. Bang, bang, we gon' ride out. Gang, gang, we don't die out. Want it like this, ain't no timeouts. Tell me who really gon' find out.
We be disturbing the peace. Working, we serving the streets.
Karen Reed has supporters who've shown up in large numbers.
Tick, tick, boom.
Hard body, and not scaring nobody. You make me resort to wildin'. You must be blind by the diamonds. I didn't want it to be this way, but y'all won't need to try this. So it's no way around it. You the loudest one, it's going quiet. We be disturbing the peace. Working, we serving the streets. About to go ahead, going beast. Bang, bang, leave you sleep.
This is the first time I think I've ever seen this. An outpouring of support for someone accused of murdering a Boston police officer. Unbelievable situation. Never seen anything like it.
Tick, tick, boom. You can't stop me, so who gon' stop me? You can't stop me, so who gon' stop me? You can't stop me, so who gon' stop me? You can't stop me, so who gon' stop me?
We be disturbing the peace. Working, we serving the streets. About to go ahead, going beast. Bang, bang, leave you sleep. It's go, 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 go time.
Tick, tick, boom.
Boom. What's up, turtle people? How's everyone out there doing tonight? Good? Good? Excellent. Welcome to the live show, ladies and gentlemen. I am your fearless host. My name's Aidan Kearney. On Facebook, I'm better known as Clarence Woods Emerson. You can follow me on there. I think I'm up to like 54,000 followers, something like that. Hard to keep track these days. A lot of growth going on. That's what she said. I prefer, old school turtle riders. They call me Uncle Turtleboy, Unc for short. That's acceptable. I prefer doctor, if I'm being completely honest with you, because if Jill Biden's a doctor, then I'm definitely a doctor. You can also call me daddy if you prefer. I know that might sound a little weird for some people, but you're more than welcome to call me that. I won't object. It'll be allowed. It's not required. I don't really care what you call me. Just be here every Tuesday and Saturday night at 9 p.m. sharp, and make sure you smash that subscribe button. Smash it good. Hold on. I gotta fix the shadow in the background. That's gonna annoy the fuck out of me. Hold on. I don't want to disappear too much. Okay, go away. There. Okay, good. I think that's good. Okay. I think that's good. All right, good. We're good. All right, yeah. So yeah, just smash the subscribe button and hit the like button. Oh no, hold on. Now the chair's disappearing. Hold on. We're gonna fix this. You know what? That's pretty close. That's good. Okay, we're gonna go with that. Yeah, cool. All right, guys. So yeah, welcome aboard. How many people we got watching right now? Over on got 3,000 on YouTube. That seems low. Okay, we got to get those numbers up. Then we got some Rumble Rats, a lot of Twitter people. So that's pretty cool. Okay, cool. Anyway, guys, so I haven't even really paid much attention to politics much. I know Trump's winning by a lot. So Trump got shot. You guys see that in the news? Somebody sent me a message and they're like, yeah, Trump got shot in the face. And I'm like, what? What do you mean he got shot in the face? No, he actually got shot in the face. What? And then I turned it on. I just searched it on. You go on Twitter. I'm so consumed with Karen Reed case right now that I just missed Trump getting shot in the face somehow. So, that happened, I guess. And everybody's talking about it. And I don't know what the hell's going on. Anybody know who shot him? Anybody know who shot him? He's dead, right? He's in Pennsylvania. Some guy, sniper on the roof, right? Isn't that Janetti's rap? Sniper on. Was it Janetti? Anyone know where Janetti is? So I guess somebody was a sniper was on the roof and it got him in the ear. Is that right? So it grazed his ear and he was immediately he did the Canton salute. Trump did the Canton salute, immediately did it. Does anyone know who the shooter is? How do we not? It's been 3 hours. How do we not know who this guy is and what his deal is? Anyone know his name? I'm trying to read the comments. He's not dead. Yeah, I know he's not dead. I know Trump's not dead. I got that part. Was it Giannetti? Snipe on the roof? It was Antifa. I mean, that's what people are going to say. I've already seen people saying it's staged, that he's, it's for the whatever, building up his. I mean, it was pretty badass. You can like him, you can dislike him, whatever. He got shot and he's just immediately, that's iconic. I don't care who, no identity yet. Okay, cool. Was it Krusty? I don't even know. It keeps on. Sniper is Sam Hyde. I don't know. No idea on the shooter yet. Okay, cool. Anyway, I don't know. It could be Higgins. Yeah, it could be any of them. I don't know. But he's alive, and it's just shit like this. Bro, he's gonna win by a lot. Like he just is. And hate him or love him, like he's gonna win by a lot. You know that, right? Like it's gonna happen. I mean, it's not anybody could beat Joe Biden. Like come on, you guys, the Democrats know that they don't even want to run him anymore. Like it's getting crazy. Like anybody could beat Joe Biden this year. It's gonna be bad. It's gonna be bad. The thing that Trump has going against him, obviously, is just some people could never, ever, ever vote for Donald Trump in their wildest imaginations. Like, no fucking way. And I understand that. But he is going to win. And he's going to win like, states that Republicans don't normally win, I think. Like Nevada, like that one's in play for the first time in a while. He's going to win that. He's winning that by a lot. Georgia's to get that one back. Arizona, he'll get that one back. Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, he's going to get them all back. But he might do some crazy shit, like win New Jersey. Like he might fuck around and win New Jersey, or fuck around and win Minnesota, or some shit you didn't think was possible. Like forget about Massachusetts. It's not going to happen here, folks. It's just not going to happen here. But, they tried impeaching him. They convicted him. It's like, I don't know. They tried shooting him. I don't know. But I tweeted out something about it today, and it's like immediately, like, so half of my followers are like new from Karen Reed, at least half. I don't even know what I was at for followers like before Karen Reed started. I think my Twitter account was like, I had a solid base. I had like 30,000 followers on Twitter, and now it's up to over 100,000. I lost like over 100 since I tweeted about this. Like, so apparently, like what I'm getting at here is a lot of people started following me because of Karen Reed. And now they're like, they saw me say, what was this is the one tweet I had about it. It was this. Okay. It was this. I said, it's a fucking iconic picture. Like hate him or love him. That's iconic. They impeached him. They charged him. They convicted him. And now they shot him. He's going to win in a bigger landslide than I thought. You could be a Donald Trump hater and say those things. Like those are just statements of opinion. Like probably, like I would admit it if it was the other way around and Biden got shot and he like survived somehow, like was like, oh shit, got up. I'm like, oh man, a little bit of street cred there for Joe Biden, But anyway, so I got a bunch of people who'd only know me from Karen Reed and like, what, Turtleboy? I didn't know you're a Trumper. I'm unfollowing you. Okay, that's fine by me. I don't think we were really meant for each other. If that's your stance, like the one time you disagree with me on something, you're out of here. I'm not really the guy for you. Like, it is what it is. Like, it's like, I am conservative. I haven't really talked about politics much at all, and I'm happier for it, but that is how I feel about shit. And if you don't want to follow me, I don't know what to tell you. It is what it is. But anyway, so that's that. All right. So back to the important stuff here. He'll be fine. If you guys would like to have your messages read out loud to the class, there's a link at the top for something called Turtle Chat. You can click on that and you can donate whatever amount of money that you want. And I will read your message out loud to the class when you do that. Or you can cash at me, at $ Uncle Turtleboy, and I will get your messages that way. People are telling me the sniper is deceased. Oh, they actually got a picture of the dude. Butler Police Department confirms the arrest. He's alive, of Trump shooter identified as Mark Violates, a known Antifa extremist. He uploaded a video on YouTube before the attack claiming justice was coming. Okay. Then I got another picture saying he's dead. So who the fuck knows if any of this shit's true? Who knows? All right, cool. All right. Anyway, so back to the donos. Let me see if we have any donos here. What's today? The 13th. So Penny donates $10 and says, thanks for all you're doing. Hashtag free Karen Reed, hashtag Trump, hashtag free Turtleboy. All right. Next, $10 from Bench Warrant. Sends $10 and goes Krusty Panties for jail 2024. So we do have some news on that. I have it on good confirmation that the Plymouth County District Attorney's Office is going to be filing a motion to revoke Krusty Panties' bail. That the Dedham police have charged her or are going to be sending her a summons that she's going to be charged with violating a restraining order for the third time against Miss Lauren Murray, who's done nothing to her at all. So she decided to stroll by the courthouse, and I showed the video, I think, on Twitter. Did you guys see this video the other day? Of her strolling by the courthouse. Let me see if I can pull this up. I know I got it on there somewhere. Where'd it go? Oh, here it is. Hold on. So she. Like 90 degrees out, and of course she doesn't have the AC on. You know that shit's broken. You know that shit's like been on her to-do list for like 3 years and just hasn't gotten done. He's waiting for the next paycheck to come in, just not coming. So she decides she just doesn't live in Dedham. She just happens to be going by the courthouse right when me, Aidan, Kearney, Turtleboy, a man who she has a stay away order against, or vice versa. Like she can't come. She has to stay away from me, right? Because she's being charged with felony witness intimidation against me. She just happens to show up to the exact place I'm going to be at, and the exact place that Lauren Murray is going to be at, who also has a restraining order against her. And, you know, she doesn't live in Dedham. She doesn't work in Dedham. She doesn't work anywhere, as a matter of fact, because she's unemployed. So what is she doing there? She can't even say that she's there to drop off the fake victim because afterwards, I guess Lauren went to the parking lot at the Dedham Police Department and the fake victim's car was there. So like clearly that's not the case, right? So I don't know what her excuse is going to be for this. And I guess, you know, if she was smart, which she's not, she could just, you know, driven by here. And if people saw her driving by, you'd be like, oh, what do you want me to do? I'm at a red light. You know, what am I supposed to do? That's fine. She could probably get away with it if she did that. Instead, she makes contact by rolling the window down, sticking her middle finger out, and then yelling shit. And Lauren Murray is standing right there. She has already been charged with violating an order against Miss Murray in like 2022, I want to say, when this order was first granted. She violated it like 2 days later. On October 26, 2023, she admitted to sufficient facts, or she basically pled guilty in court and took what's called a quaff, a continuous without a finding. And so when that happened, you're on probation for like a year. And if you fuck up, the charges come back. It's automatic guilty. So you can't do that. You know, it's got to, like, everybody gets a quaff, but most people don't violate like immediately. So she couldn't help herself, though. She's charged with violating an order against Lauren the next month again, because she shows up to my arraignment and Lauren's there and she won't leave because she's obsessed with following Lauren around. And then on top of that, she fucks around and gets a witness intimidation charge against me and leaves that insane voicemail telling me she's coming to my parents' house. Remember that? Fucking I got out of jail. She's telling me that. She's obsessed with me. She can't go away. So she is already on probation now in West Roxbury. That's where she caught her first charge. Stoughton and Leominster. She has 3 different probation officers. And she violates the 2 people that she can't go anywhere near. She goes near both of us. She also sought us both out 2 weeks ago when she showed up at the Canton protest. Same shit. And this is what she does.
Did you get that? Dirty Krusty Panties on the floor. Free Kearney! Free Kearney! Free Kearney! Red light! Red light!
It's the longest red light.
500 feet! 500 feet!
She knows. And there's Lauren. That's her. She can't go anywhere near Lauren. Krusty! Yeah, she does.
Get the dirt out of your fingernail before you flick it on us.
You dirty bitch.
Threaten me again.
Yeah.
She's a mouthpiece for the Albert.
Yeah. Now watch this. She yells something there. Ready?
Yeah.
She yelled something there. And as she drives away with her missing hubcap. So I told, my sources are telling me that the Plymouth County District Attorney's Office, one of the 3 areas, and it has to be Plymouth County, by the way, because Stoughton's not in Plymouth County. It's in Norfolk. Plymouth County has to charge her because they had to bring in a special prosecutor for that because she is an informant for the Norfolk County DA's office, and that's a conflict. So they got to bring in Plymouth County, who is actually, I think it's like a real district attorney's office, and they are filing charges against her to have her bail revoked. So, you know, and I'll tell you one thing, Superior Court, they can only revoke your bail for 60 days. My bail was out of Superior Court. District Court, it's 90 days. District Court, it's 90 days. So she has not been indicted in any sort of Superior Courts. So, okay, cool. All right. Anyway, guys, so that's one. I got through 2 turtle chats there. Next one is from Randy sends $10. Says, stay strong. You will prevail. Much love. Thank you, Randy. I look forward to the victory party and meeting you soon too. Okay. Thank you very much. Next one. Do we have any more here? Turtle chats. Let me refresh this. Yeah, we have one from Aaron. Sends $5 and says, Turtleboy, you're absolutely hysterical. Keep up the great reporting and fuck the McCabe's, and pizza needs to close. By the way, did you guys see that the Chris Albert's pizza shop has become a welfare pizza shop? You guys see this? It's hilarious. So it's welfare pizza now. On the anti-free Karen Reed Facebook group, they have they've started a movement to buy pizzas from D&E Pizza and send them to the homeless or something like that. I don't know, various charities, whatever. What's this? Okay. Various charities, whatever. So I don't know if they're actually sending any of these pizzas to any charities, but they're urging people to, like, what's that guy, the gay guy? What the hell's his name? Joe Warren, that guy, antiquated rogue. The homosexual guy that shows up with nothing, there's anything wrong with that. He shows up with the racist guy. He shows up with the food stamp 5, like the Hawaiian shirt. He tweeted something like, everybody should do this and help out Chris's pizza shop. So basically he's become a welfare pizza shop because nobody actually wants to buy his pizza because it sucks and mediocre is really too good for it. But yeah. So anyway, that's that. Okay. What else was I going to get at? Oh yeah. Let me read some cash apps here. All right. First one is from Christina. This is from the other day. She sent $10 and had no comment. Well, thank you, Christina. Callie sends $50 and she says, free Karen Reed, free Turtleboy, and free the fucking closet baby. I'm just saying. So somebody started a Twitter account for that, and that no, definitely. I mean, no, I will say this. Okay. Twisted Tragedies. Remember her? Remember Twisted Tragedies? She wanted to let people know that it's actually normal to live in a closet, I guess, because she grew up apparently in a closet. Like, somebody sent me this clip and I was not even surprised. Let's just say it that way. I laughed. I had a good laugh over it. But not surprised. Check this out. You guys, so Twisted Tragedies, if you guys don't know who she is she was there when I was actually arraigned for witness intimidation, like some big fan, I guess. She said I'd never seen her before. And she had been like, I'd seen her on YouTube. I'd never met her in person or anything. I'd seen her on YouTube because she'd been like, a lot of people were starting to talk about, she had like a show, I guess, which is her sitting in her apartment, ripping butts in front of her children and just repeating the same things I was saying, and then trying to sell Jim Ferris is rude merch. So she's just ripping me off, basically. just trying to like she doesn't have a job. She is a scam artist. And a lot of people thought that I was associated with her because she was like a big supporter of mine and everything. And then I saw that she did a GoFundMe for her boyfriend, who she calls a husband. He wanted to go to play softball, I guess, in Florida or some shit like that. So anyway, I just thought this clip was funny because, you know, I just want to let you know there's nothing wrong with it because this twisted tragedies. So I called her out for it. And I didn't even write a blog about it. I just called her out for it. And then after that, she magically believed that Karen Reed was guilty. That's generally how this goes. And they said, oh, no, I actually looked at the facts and the evidence. No, you got mad at me. So she wants to let everyone know this is perfectly normal.
Yeah, it's a troll trying to disparage Lindsay. Oh, well, they will. They will. And, like, you know, I don't just block people magically. Like, if you come in here, I give you a chance, just like this Jules person that wants to run their mouth and try to disparage my friend Lindsay, which is not tolerated here. Not tolerated here. Do you know how many people on planet Earth have used walk-in closets as bedrooms? I lived in one when I was, like, around college age.
College aged?
Okay? The thing was as big as a bedroom. Didn't have windows, but it was as big as a bedroom.
No windows.
That's exactly what we used it for. I used it first, and then when my other roommate moved out, a third roommate moved in. And that's what they used it for. Like,
okay.
Sit there and act like you know shit that you don't know.
Okay. So I guess it's good news, guys. It's if you live in a closet, you can grow up and be like twisted tragedies. Perfectly normal. Like a college aged, not in college aged, living in a closet. It's as big as a room. It just has no windows. So there's that. Okay. All right. So thank you for that one, Callie. Next one. Russell sends $10 and goes, God bless Trump and Turtleboy. Thank you very much, Russell Jones. Appreciate that, sir. Shauna sends, okay, now reading that one. Let's see. Oh, no, reading this one from Shauna. Sends $20 and goes, Dunky D's for the kids. Love my young Sean Penn. You guys think I look like a young Sean Penn? Thank you, Shauna. I appreciate that. Thank you. Very kind of you. Okay. This is from the other day. Mary Pat sent $25 and says, thank you, doctor, for always seeking the truth. My pleasure. My pleasure. Robin sends $10 and goes, hey, doc, shout out to Microdots for great content. Richie is so talented, isn't he? Richie Keogh, great guy too. Very loyal, Richie Keogh. Awesome dude. So check out his shit, Microdots. Justin sends $5 and says, so happy for Thursday. The court went well for you. Yes, we're going to talk about that a little later. Thank you. Okay, cool. All right. So, yeah, do we have any more turtle chats? I'll just check and then we got to get started with the content. No, we don't. So if anyone else wants to donate, link is at the top for Turtle Chat, or you can cash at me at $ Uncle Turtle Boy. Okay, let's do this. First thing we're going to talk about is this latest shit with Courtney Proctor. We got to talk about this nonsense. So let me pull this up. Did a little article on this today, but then I just read the letter that she sent to Maura Healey, and good God, we just have to read it together as a class because it is too goddamn funny. All right, let's start with the this. All right, so Courtney Proctor, a bunch of people sent us. She's obviously the sister of disgraced state trooper Michael Proctor, who is about to be terminated. He's been under internal affairs investigation for a while. They suddenly decided to suspend him without pay after, like, the day after the trial is over. But it wasn't for like the good reasons. It was for, like, I mean, it was for a good reason. Like, all his voice text messages and shit, they're all fucked up. We all agree on that. Balloon knot, you know, saying that she should kill herself. And, you know, I mean, the really bad, the worst texts were the ones where he was talking about, like, how to manipulate the medical examiner with the Chico, who, by the way, how the fuck is that fat piece of shit not in trouble at all? The Chico, I've never even seen him before. Can we learn more about that guy? But they're all scumbags, and they're all, the fact that he felt comfortable saying these things to his bosses, that was the real problem. But overlooked in all this, right, is that, hold on, I'm itching, is that the really fucked up shit he's not even in trouble for, like planting taillight, lying in police reports, not telling a grand jury that, oh yeah, I've known the McAlberts for couple decades now. I was in a wedding party with Colin Albert when he was 7. I just forgot to mention all that somehow. But anyway, so he's rightfully going down, and no one in their right mind would want to be associated with somebody like him. I mean, they're all going to dump this guy fast, like real fast. Well, Courtney Proctor sends this tone-deaf email out to her friends and family, who obviously are not that close friends because they sent it to us. Hi, everyone. As you know or have heard in the news, my brother is under an internal affairs investigation with the state police over the misuse of his personal text messages. There's no misuse, just over his personal text messages. We have learned that the state police is potentially going to impose the most severe type of punishment, which is termination. God forbid. God forbid. Michael has had a 10-plus career with the state police that has consisted of promotions. What promotion has Michael Proctor ever had? Like, he's not a sergeant, is he? But I digress. Which has consisted of promotions, accolades, and not one violation or complaint against him. But until now, he has been used in a political chess game. A political chess game. Where is the politics here? That has nothing to do with Karen Reed investigation. He and his office led with fidelity. They did such a great job with the investigation. They didn't botch that one or anything. Like, what? So, I don't even know where to start with this. Political? How is it political? Republicans and Democrats are all, like, we agree. Michael Proctor sucks, right? Like, he's bad. Michael Proctor's bad. It kind of unites people on political lines. That Michael Proctor is a horribly corrupt state police detective, and he should not have a job. Like, he's got to go. So, yeah, okay. But besides that, it's not even an election year for the district attorney. Like, he works for it'd be one thing if Michael Morrissey was in some sort of tight election, but he's not running and he's never been challenged. And I certainly hope someone out there is taking out papers to challenge Michael Morrissey in 2026. I don't care. Republican, Democrat, communist, whatever. Whoever runs against Michael Morrissey has my full endorsement. Full endorsement. But I digress. Goes on to say, I am trying to push an email campaign to the governor and the colonel of the state police ahead of his IA interview next week. Next week, we learn of his final punishment. Please help by emailing Governor Healy and Colonel Mott. Well, first of all, imagine thinking that's going to save you. Like, after all of the attention this story has gotten, just a couple emails from some randos who just like, Michael Proctor's a good guy because it's okay that he said that about Balloon Knot because Karen Reed bad. Karen Reed's not been convicted of anything, by the way. But, Karen Reed bad, so you can say those things about her. And sure you can. Okay. Well, she goes on to say, like, picture Governor Healy, by the way, who is a feminist, even though I don't like Governor Healy. I think the fact that she's been so silent about this, I think, is problematic. But the only thing she had to say about it was she was disgusted by Proctor's text messages. So I don't think this is going to work. I don't think this campaign is going to work. And the fact that they think it is pretty telling. Now, she writes this in the Anti-Free Karen Reed Facebook group. Thank you, and perfectly said. I'm Mike's sister and appreciate everyone who voices their support of him right now. Please continue to spread the word because the true crime in all of this is what Karen did. And then what did Karen do besides fight for her life and expose corruption. Like, what did Karen Reed do? Not keel over and die? Okay. And what her defense team did to involve the AG's office. The AG's office is not involved. The AG's office has done nothing. Andrea Campbell is MIA on this. But you're thinking of the U.S. Department of Justice, which quite literally exists to investigate corruption. Like, if a dead cop is found on a lawn murdered and it's not adding up and it looks like a cover-up has taken place, the DOJ exists to investigate that. But yeah, I guess she says that they shouldn't have done it because her brother's involved. They abused their power to access my brother's cloud. That's the real conspiracy. I love how these people are all the victim of a conspiracy. The people who have all the guns and all the power are somehow a victim of a conspiracy between the Department of Justice, Karen Reed, and something called Turtleboy have all conspired to take down, it's all our fault. We're the real conspirators here. We're the real conspirators. Okay. Sure you are, sweetheart. Anyway, it's a travesty, these people say, whoever Laura Lee is in this group. And you should, if you can get into this group and you want some lulls, just get in there. You'll have a good time. It's a travesty, and I'm sorry for all of you. I'll continue to post about the corruption from the U.S. Attorney's Office, and I hope, yes, that'll make a difference. And I hope that someone does a thorough investigation of that, because I know you'll find more than some bad words praying for all of you. And just in case it's clear, I want to be perfectly clear about this. If and when the day comes that Michael Proctor or any of the McAlberts is arrested for the murder and covering up the murder of John O'Keefe, it's not going to change anyone's mind. Like, Coven Daver is going to be like, this investigation's corrupt. The DOJ has gone too far. They're arresting the wrong people. Like, it's not, these people are too set in their ways and too stupid. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, all the evidence is there already, seeing it. And they're like, no, it's not there. Listen to Plevin. Plevin will tell you. Listen to Plevin. Look at his zombie memes. Look at him. Yeah, totally. Okay. So, goes on to say, like, I would say that, just like a quick review, I did it in this story I published. He told his friends and his text messages that Brian Albert wouldn't be investigated. I feel like that's a big thing because he's BPD. He mocked Karen Reed's private medical issues, right? He used graphic language. I can't even count all the words, cunt, you name it, that he used to call Karen Reed, showing that he was clearly biased from the beginning and he was only going to investigate her. He sent messages in group text messages, like just like these, to his superiors, like Fanning and like, Fanning and Buchanan are in that. Bukaki, rather. And by the way, like Melanie Little reported this other day, and I've been told, my sources tell me the same thing, that John Fanning, Lieutenant John Fanning, the architect of the Sandra Birchmore cover-up, was actively involved in the jury. Like, if anybody was involved in, seeing, reporting people who are on the jury for shit, whatever, like, it would have been Fanning. So, like, it just so happened that, the day that the jury was the last day of deliberations, the three most pro not guilty jurors were all eliminated, and Fanning, I'm told, is in charge. Yes, so it has been confirmed. Correct. All right. So anyway, like, she also, like, the big issue was this kill yourself message, where she says, Michael Proctor says, hopefully she kills herself. And Courtney Proctor says, let's hope she does. Let's hope she does. Like, so there's that. Anyway, we've been over this a million times before. Karen Barsamian Proctor, Michael's mother, says, called the Alberts a second family. She's a special ed teacher somehow. They've known each other for years. Proctor also misspelled names of all these people wrong in his report, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Didn't do any interviews. Oh, and now Krusty Panties is on the trail too. Here's Krusty Panties' email. If you're as outraged as I am, things aren't going well for your cause if you're Courtney Proctor, when, like, the only person that you can find to help you out with, like, an email campaign is nicknamed and proudly calls herself Krusty Panties, and is just solely motivated by anger towards me, and is facing God knows how many charges out there, felony charges, you name it, is probably going to end up in jail soon. And, she's going to email, like, she's leading your campaign. I don't think Courtney Proctor ever envisioned herself needing to rely on someone like Krusty Panties to save her brother's job. Things aren't going very well. If you put all your, marbles in the Krusty Panties is going to save me basket, it's probably not going to work out the way, you hoped it would. So here's all the emails they want you to email. Yeah. Picture Josh Levy getting this email and be like, you know what? I was going to go after Proctor, but then I got this Krusty Panties email, so it changed my mind. Bethany Brown, whoever that is. Maura Healy, yeah, she's going to get that. Kim Driscoll, yeah, they're definitely going to read it. Colonel Mon, yep. Carissa Hand, whoever that is. Bill Galvin, I think he's the Canton state rep, I want to say. Who else is on here? The Norfolk clerk's office, yeah, they'll do something. David Traub, he'll fix it. Right after he gets his burger with Gretchen. Lynn Beelan, she'll get it. Andrea Campbell, the state attorney general, she'll get on. Jamie Eldridge, some fucking how. Jamie Eldridge is on there. And Michael Morrissey, he'll fix it for you. And this is what Krusty Panties writes. I am a registered voter in Massachusetts. For an entire year now, I have watched first of all, I'm a registered voter. This bitch don't vote. She don't vote. I'm a registered voter in Massachusetts. For an entire year now, I have watched in horror as state's witnesses, investigators, ADAs, and anyone who dares defend them have been subjected to relentless harassment, stalking, slander, and threats, says the person who has 2 harassment orders against her and has stalked numerous people, says that person. Okay. Let's see. Turtleboy's lives. Timing people out and deleting messages for no reason. Uh-oh. Who's live? Who's time? Did Laura fall asleep on it again? This has happened before. I hope not. I hope Laura is the only other person that's logged into it. This has happened before. Remember, Laura has done this before. She's in London, so it's like 2 and 3 in the morning over there. And she's fallen asleep on her phone before and randomly times people out. I hope not. It's like our version of butt dialing. That's actually plausible that happens. Like that's the only thing I could think might have happened. I hope Laura's okay. Wake up, Laura. Come on. Anyway, hopefully too. So if you get timed out, don't take it personally. It's just Laura's probably fell asleep on her phone. But anyway, sorry about that. So back to Krusty Panties here. You changed that. Thank you, Carrie. I appreciate that. Because Laura's not controversial at all. Like, she would never do that at all. Like, that's not her style. Like, but she's fallen asleep on her phone before. She tries, man. It's hard being in London. It's hard being in London and, moonlighting. It's at the horrible time we have this show if you're in London. Anyway, so she goes, I've watched a simple hit and run case, the Commonwealth versus Karen Reed, turned into nonstop abusive theater, both online and offline, with no reprieve or protection for the victims who came after me at CF McCarthy's. I've watched the murder victim's family get torn to shreds. Just play the Jill Daniels clip. And a lovely little community be ripped apart. Yeah, she really cares. This has now reached a new low that I would not have expected. I'm outraged to see our elected officials and others in a position of power cave to an unhinged mob. What elected officials are caving to a mob? Like, none. The state police are doing this, not elected officials. The state police have suspended him. Supporting a murder defendant who's been convicted of nothing and take such unwarranted action against a dedicated state trooper with a young family at home. Oh, he's got a young family. Oh, boo fucking who. Let me repeat this. I said it before. I'll say it again. Fuck his family. That's my official stance on Michael Proctor's family. Fuck his family. None of these people gave a shit about my family, about my kids, when I got locked up for 60 days and I didn't even do anything and they all knew it. And they all were happy about it and blah, blah, blah. So let me just fucking say, yes, I am fucking happy the Proctor family is about to be destitute. It's unfortunate that his children are going to have to, take the brunt of it and, maybe downsize, maybe not, maybe go to a cheaper daycare. I don't know. Maybe, they're going to have to start shopping and pay less. I don't know. A lot of tuna fish in their future, I think, and peanut butter sandwiches. Not many Disney trips coming up. Too fucking bad. Not my problem. Like, welcome to poverty. Your kids will be okay. A lot of people grow up in poverty. There's a whole continent called Africa, and all the kids there, for the most part, are grown up in poverty, and they're all happy for the most. Not all of them, not the child soldiers, but like a lot of them are happy. Every time I see something going on in Africa, a bunch of village kids around, they're smiling generally and happy because it's the only life they know. So your poor kids, Michael Proctor, they're going to be poor, okay? I see a lot of overalls in their future. That's okay. It's okay to be poor. Your kids are going to be poor. We got mass health and shit, okay? You'll be okay. You'll be okay. Like, you're going to be poor. But it's okay to be poor. Your stupid kids will be fine. Now, if you go to jail for 10 years, I mean, that's a different thing. You'll be a little bit more than poor. Your kids ain't going to have a father. I've offered to teach his kids how to throw a spiral football if that happens. And then I caught a felony over it. Apparently, that's what Lizzie Proctor told. He said he was going to kidnap my kids. This is what she told police. Can you believe this? We're going to say this all. I guess I can't publish grand jury documents. But Liz Proctor has told police, when interviewed, that I have threatened to kidnap her kids. I never threatened to kidnap her kids. Laura's back. Good. Okay. I didn't threaten to kidnap any kids. I don't want to kidnap your stupid kids. I don't need that. I don't need that shit. I got enough problems. I don't have time for 2 kids walking around here. The kid, am I going to put them in the closet? No. I don't want your kids. I offered to teach them how to throw a spiral football on the weekends. That's it. If Michael Proctor goes to jail, that's not the same thing as kidnapping them. All right. Michael Proctor is the one who chose this. Michael Proctor is the one who, if he goes to jail because he wanted to, cover for Brian Albert, that was his choice. He had a good job. He didn't put his family first. I didn't make that decision. He did. And he deserves it for everything he's put Karen Reed through and me. All right. So, Trooper Proctor and his superiors worked diligently. Oh my God. Diligently to investigate the untimely death of Officer John O'Keefe. They worked so diligently, they forgot to interview all the people in the house and never found the plow driver. And I had to do that for them. And they didn't pull any ring videos and shit just disappeared all the time. They did so much work, guys. Oh, they worked so hard on this case. It was a perfect case. Right. For all the outrage that's been generated regarding Trooper Proctor's private text messages, there is zero evidence that he or any other member of his office took part in any. Where'd it go? In any wrongdoing or malfeasance while on the job. I fail to see how his Trooper Proctor's juvenile comments. First of all, that's just so wrong. But anyway, I fail to see how Trooper Proctor's juvenile comments to family and friends violates any law or policy or merits the loss of his career. That's because, she's been fired from her job. Like, that's how it works. Like, she doesn't understand, like, you can't do shit like that. Like, those aren't his private thoughts. That shows a clear bias in an investigation. Again, the comments about like Brian Albert will be okay. He's BPD. That's a problem. The fact that he's sharing her private medical information with people and mocking it and saying that he hopes that she kills herself. Like, geez Louise. He has a right to express himself in private just as any citizen of the United States does. Yeah. Until the private messages are no longer until they're no longer private. Like, what about my private shit? They're going to go all through my phone. right? I mean, they came into my home. They fucking searched it around because they made comments on YouTube they don't like. That's it. Oh, but it's on YouTube, so it's different. I'm also not a cop, by the way. I'm not investigating a murder. Michael Proctor is held to a higher standard than me, whether or not he wants to admit it. This seems particularly inequitable. Ooh, big word. Considering it does not seem to be common practice to audit or otherwise monitor any officer or trooper's personal cell phone and communications. In fact, our own governor recently was quite staunch in protecting her right to privacy in her personal life. The fuck was that about? The men and women who serve our Commonwealth and law enforcement are not entitled to the same. Oh, yeah, the federal government's picking on me. Officers have been placed on paid leave and allowed to return to work for doing far more than sending a handful of off-color text messages. Like what? Can you name anything? Where'd it go? In doing this, you are doing not only a great disservice to the communities that the state police serves, you are doing a particularly cruel thing to the O'Keefe family. All these people love to hide behind. You think about the O'Keefes. The O'Keefes love Michael Proctor. The O'Keefes don't want him suspended. Yeah, think about Paul O'Keefe. How about this? How about Paul O'Keefe go fuck himself instead? Paul O'Keefe can go fuck himself. How about that? That's my feelings on Paul O'Keefe. Fuck Paul O'Keefe. That's my thoughts on him. So anyway, but apparently Paul O'Keefe's happiness solely comes from whether or not Michael Proctor is suspended. That's what makes him funny. Okay, sure thing. That's what makes him happy. Right. Every state's witness who bravely took the stand and endured relentless harassment, intimidation, and the memory of John O'Keefe himself. You are allowing the woman who took his life, not convicted of anything, to quote, literally turn the system against itself. No, subverting justice and ruining countless lives, blah, 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 blah. It's absolutely unacceptable, says the unemployed Ratchet, and makes me question the leadership in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Yeah, she'll be voting next time, sure. Yeah, picture like, oh no, Maura Healey won by what, 30% last time? Oh no, but she's lost the Krusty Panties contingent. That's a major lobbying group over there. What are they going to do now? They help no one outside of one solitary murder defendant and hurt countless others and are completely and utterly misguided and unfair. We need a corrupt law enforcement. Yeah. Think about the children and the O'Keefes. All right. So yeah, that's Krusty. Again, this is Krusty's parenting. Listen to this.
Like my cigarettes.
This is live. This is if you're unfamiliar with Krusty Panties, she goes on this Discord app. And this is some quotes from her. Remember, this is somebody who the Proctors and the McAlberts have proudly aligned themselves with, who Julie Grant seems to like. And this is her, telling strangers on Discord about her parenting. Just listen to this. She shares this with strangers.
It's like at first she would steal them. I would punish her for stealing them. And then I decided that I didn't want the alternative happening, so I would leave them out. I knew she was stealing them, and then I said, well, I don't really want to teach her to fucking steal, so I would tell her, you have to. At first, I attached a chore to it, and then it's at this point, like, ask me, and
you have to do chores for
there's certain times that I'll say no, because I just know, like, when she wakes up in the morning and goes, can I have a cigarette before school? Like, no, you can't get into that habit, because this is a hard enough one to break. When you start fucking habitually smoking at certain times and getting into those rituals, it's even fucking harder. I know what's going to happen. Like I said, I know the kids smoke weed. Like, not a big fucking deal to me anymore. I have harder lines, bigger issues. Oh. Last summer, I started to she had a boyfriend at the time. I let the boyfriend sleep over the house and I provided them with condoms. Like, it was like, what's the alternative? Really?
Not doing that?
Go out and do it anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Like, in a much more unsafe place. And, like, I'm not that much older than her. I remember when I was 18. It's not like I don't understand this shit to a certain degree. You just they can hang out safely. have rules that I feel like are pretty fucking, I mean, they're pretty lax.
Have you guys seen this video before? It's a good video.
I know that they smoke pot, and I don't give them a hard time. I don't allow drinking or hard drugs in my house. That's it. And like, I will call the police if I find, and they know that.
They know that.
I feed them. I cook for them. And I feed them.
And then I give them condoms.
I'll drive them around. Like,
and weed. Condoms and weed.
I'm not sitting there fucking doing arts and crafts with them all the time.
Yeah.
And like, they deal with, me screaming on the internet sometimes, or
this is actual. This is her telling strangers.
I shouldn't even say that. Like, I don't. Andy is not a fucking batterer. Like,
okay, so Andy is. If you guys are unfamiliar, Andrew Johnson is her boyfriend, who she claims is her husband, and Andrew Johnson is a crackhead who DCF specifically said told her you can't live with him because she's gotten him arrested so many times for assault or whatever, or stealing her pills. The dude steals her pills all the time because she takes Vyvanse or Vyvanse, whatever you pronounce it. And DCF told her in her action plan, because I've published this, I got a hold of this, that if she wants to keep the kids, Andrew's got to go. And she chose him. Like she took her, like she didn't get her kids back. The two youngest ones were Wade and Hunter. They were adopted out in like 2014. There's an article in the Attleboro Sun Chronicle about it on National Adoption Day. Those are the lucky ones. She tried holding on to them, but she chose Andrew over them, Andy. And so they're gone. They got adopted to a real family, and they'll never see her again. And then the older two, those they weren't so lucky. They got stuck with her. So they were in and out of foster homes a lot after that. And finally, by like 2019, they just got so old that they're like, yeah, we can't. The girl especially was like, we can't keep putting her in foster homes. She's too fucking crazy and fucked up because of you. And yeah. And then she sent her daughter after me last year and said horrible sexual things about my children. Her 16-year-old daughter did. And Kate was just egging it on. And so again, this is in 2021, this is a better story. In 2021, Andrew Johnson was arrested for assault and battery with a knife on Kate's daughter, who's 14 at the time. And I published the whole police report. He puts a fucking knife to her throat and shit like that. Like it's fucking like threatens to stab her. It's crazy. And Kate blames her. She doesn't want him to move out. So she blames her, says the whole thing is a lie. Doesn't let the girl testify. The charges end up getting dropped. She told police and DCF that she was going to kick Andrew out of the apartment. So he's not going to be there anymore. She didn't because 3 months later, he was arrested again for punching her in the face in February of 22 in front of her son, who said he was horrified and didn't want to be there anymore because he was so scared of Andrew Johnson. So that's the background there. And this is the person that Courtney Proctor has chosen to align herself with. So Courtney, I know you're watching. You probably never heard this shit before, but this person that you're listening to right now, I know, because you're not trash, Courtney Proctor. I know you guys, you're acting trashy, but you're not traditional trash in that sense. Like you come from Canton. It's a nice town. Like you have a nice life. Like you're comfortable. Like your husband seems, the German guy, he seems normal. And like everything is good. You don't associate with people like Krusty. You would never associate with her, but you're so desperate for someone to have your back that you took this person.
The imagination. He's definitely put hands on me once or twice in the last 10 years.
Definitely put hands on
me. Fucking problems, but like we are. A lot less now that, like, like in the thick of it last year when he's pulling these reports from, because not that it excuses the chaos that occurs in my house sometimes, but like my daughter was off the rails to the point.
That's the daughter's fault.
She had run away from a group home and was gone for a week. She was sneaking out of her window all the time. We were finding drugs in her room. We were finding alcohol in her room. She was sneaking boys into the house. She was, I would try to give her a drug test. And if she was already having an episode, it would turn violent. She'd thrown urine on me before. It was like, we would argue about the way that like things should be handled because Andy for a long time felt like I wasn't, I wasn't strict enough with discipline. And if we just had stricter rules, then he would behave. And that's, you can't discipline away mental health issues. We'd argue about it a lot, because it was like, he came into my room early and was like, he scheduled a live about Andy. kid. I was like, yeah. I was like, so, like, who fucking cares? And she was like, this is all your fault. Like, they're going to pull that up. I'm going to look bad. He's going to look bad. You make everybody look bad. I was like, it's like nobody watches it, Teresa. It's fine. And then
How many people are watching right now? The daughter is begging Kate, Mom, please stop. Please stop obsessing over Turtleboy. It's going to drag me into it. And she tells the kid, fuck off, kid. You'll be fine. No, fuck off. I'm going to keep going at it with this Turtleboy character. What? And tell the world about how fucked up you are.
then I was like, just don't watch it and go to bed, right? And then this morning she woke up and was in a fucking panic, and she was like, I told you something was gonna happen. Like, he's gonna come fucking kidnap you. He won't leave me alone. Like, I think the same thing she says, like, usually, like, joking, but she was like upset this time. She's like, I think he wants to bang me. Like, it's just fucking
what?
A lot of conjecture.
Why do these kids what?
It seems to be to just fucking, go at my fucking daughter. Like, and I put out the report because, like, she doesn't look
and
that bad in
pulled
it.
the knife
You
on
can
him.
tell that she lied a couple times.
Oh, the
she
daughter
was
lied.
upset,
The daughter lied.
And she wasn't arrested.
The daughter lied. So the knife fits in it.
I was considering yesterday, and I really should have followed through and just fucking didn't because I got lazy. But going down and just filing for criminal harassment, you actually just add this to that.
Yeah,
Maybe
totally,
that's probably
totally. Yeah.
to get, like, the whole-
To add this to that, you should at least get a report.
Oh, it's
You should at
dump
least get
truck.
something
Dump
from the police
truck.
department, like,
That's
open
dump
an
truck.
office,
I'm
what's
saying
going on.
maybe I should just go down and like report.
Oh, totally.
everything.
Yeah. My advice would be report this separately.
Oh, dump
and then
truck.
I would,
Dump truck.
If you go to the police and try to report criminal harassment and it's a long-term thing, likely they're going to tell you to go down to the courthouse.
Okay, dump truck.
It's like there was nothing you could have
there
done
she
to
is.
avoid
Ew,
this.
ew.
Aidan and his mistress were the ones that dragged you to court. Aidan's and her ones fucking following you all the time and stuff. Like, this wasn't avoidable.
Yeah, nothing's her fault.
It's just not. Nothing you do is going to stop him from doing this shit.
He's obsessed with you. Get freaked out about this too. Like, they're convinced that, like, he's gonna, like, hurt me at some point or something because, like, my dad follows the internet stuff. My mom really doesn't, but she hears it from my kids. And, like, my dad particularly is like, he can't let it go.
Okay. All right. So that's enough Krusty. So you guys get the point there. If you never heard that, it's a good video. All right. Anyway, one more Krusty video. This is her when, if you've never seen this is a good one. So this is her. She tried doing a YouTube career when she was younger, like in her crackhead days.
Right.
And her daughter was 6 years old at the time, and she makes her call her a retard. Watch this. Watch this. Just watch this.
I would be so upset if you left me because you're the first Facebook boyfriend I've ever had, and I really wanted a Facebook boyfriend. I love you, Michael.
Hey, Mom. Wait, Mom, what are you doing?
This is what grown-ups do when they're in love!
You're a retard.
What? Imagine coaching your kid to say that for YouTube likes. What? So anyway, that's Courtney Proctor's new friend. So there's that. Okay. Anyway, so I think we get the point with the Proctors here. Okay. All right. Next thing, I want to talk about the juror situation with Karen Reed. Let's talk about this. And I'll read some donos. And we have the raffle winner. We got it. Not raffle. No raffle. The 60-40 giveaway. That's what we're calling it. The 60-40 giveaway. That's and I'm sorry, I'm like wicked itchy tonight. All right. So let's talk about this latest motion filed in the Karen Reed case with this juror. And the more I've been listening, I listened to the lawyer, talk about this. I listened to Melanie Little and Mark Bederow talk about this, and I listened to Melanie Mark today, and they disagreed on what's going to happen. Mark thinks that it's not going to go anywhere, that like this motion to dismiss or whatever, or at least poll the jurors, is going to fail, that she's not going to allow it. And Melanie thinks there's no way, she has to allow it. To be very clear, I'm with Mark on this one. Like, and I don't know, I love Melanie, but I don't know what trial she's been watching. Because if you think that Beverly Canoni is suddenly going to be fair or make some sort of bold decision that goes against the grain, then you haven't been watching Beverly Canoni, because that's just not, that's not how Auntie Bev operates. It's like, well, you know, she's going to deny it. Like, you know it. And then it's going to go to the SJC. And I've heard different things about what will happen when it gets to the SJC. I mean, it would take a lot for the SJC to overturn this. But it's basically comes down to this. There's the rules, and then there's ethical. Like, then there's like, you know, do you have a conscience, and do you just want to win? Because, okay, even if they're going to argue in their motion as they do that, like, this was proper, that it was proper for them to, you know, return to deny this motion or whatever, you know, that basically that we'll go over it. But even if you believe that the rules say this and the case law says this, whatever, at the end of the day, how can you sleep at night knowing that it appears as if 12 jurors voted to acquit a woman of murder, and then you're going to bring her back? How the fuck can you sleep at night? Like, at least this prosecutor or one of the prosecutors in the Alec Baldwin case just quit, because she's like, this is wrong. Like, I don't like Alec Baldwin, but he's not guilty of, what was he charged with? Was he charged with manslaughter? I don't even know what he was charged with, but he's not guilty of that. It's not his fault. I mean, it is. He shot someone, but basically the evidence, I guess, was being held. I wasn't following it that much. I was not following the Alec Baldwin thing that much, but I guess my point here is all I know is that this prosecutor, you know, had the gumption to just say, no, this is wrong, and I'm not participating in this anymore. That would never happen in any other case. Like, that would not happen in Norfolk County, ever. Like, picture Adam Lally ever doing that. No, these people all like their $90,000 a year and their cheese sandwiches way too much. They're not going to do it. Anyway, so let's talk about what happened here. So that's my thoughts on that. So, you know, we got jurors. So Alan Jackson, and we've been over this. We don't need to relitigate this whole thing. But, you know, earlier in the week, Alan Jackson talks to one juror who tells him straight up that all 12 jurors were in agreement Karen Reed was not guilty of murder and leaving the scene of an injury or death. Then David Yannetti talks to two intermediaries who spoke with jurors who inform him that the same thing, 12-0 in favor of not guilty for murder, but that there was that not only the whole jury felt very intimidated, that the jurors have a group text going, which I think is a good thing, because I don't know. All I'm saying to the jurors, and by the way, I've been told that I'm under investigation for jury tampering. I shit you not. I had somebody reach out and tell me that this week, that I'm under investigation for jury tampering. So all I got to say to that, to John Fanning out there, is fuck you. Fuck you, John Fanning. You're not going to get me, because I have not tampered with any jury. I've never spoken to any members of the jury at all. I know you're probably trying to make some shit up about me because you're obsessed with me. And you probably say, oh, well, on his show, he said this, and that's jury tampering and blah, blah, blah. First of all, after a trial is over, you can try to talk to any juror you want, which I have not successfully talked to any jurors. I could if I want to, but you're allowed to talk to jurors after the trial is over. So I have not tampered with any jury. So that's just a lie. But I know as a fact that John Fanning, who is in charge of the jury, is attempting to investigate me for jury tampering. They are obsessed with me. They will never, ever, ever let me go. And the only people who are on record to have somewhat intimidated the jury, send Mark the indictments he is asking. Which indictments talk about? I'd love to send Mark the indictment. Yes, chat has said Aidan knows about the fifth juror. So I do know about the fifth juror. That's what we're going to get to here. So long story short, we had a fourth juror come forward and spoke with Alan Jackson again. This was probably the strongest one, because this juror said a lot of things. They said that they were uncomfortable with how the trial was ended. On the bus ride back to their cars, they looked at each other and said, will anyone know that we voted to acquit Karen Reed of murder? So my question to the jury is, like, what are you guys all waiting for? Like, that's what I would want to know, is what are they waiting for? Like, seriously, what are they? If I was them, like, how do you spent 10 weeks of your life on this, and you don't even get credit for nothing? It was like it never happened. You don't even get credit. So anyway, hold on. He wants them all. Mark Bederow wants all your indictments. Like the charging docs? I can set what's his email? Hold on. Yeah, we're gonna talk about mine in a minute. And maybe I could bring Mark up here when that happens. That'd be cool. Don't go anywhere, Mark. So yeah. Yeah, definitely. If he's here, I'll send him a link to join me. Hold on. I'd love to have him on. I always like having Mark on. Give me one sec. If you want to join. Okay. I just sent Mark the link if he wants to join. Because we're going to talk about my indictments in a minute. But so this is the fourth juror. They come out with some really strong language, and they say here in no uncertain terms that the juror is upset that they were never polled about counts 1 and 3 because they were unanimously in favor of not guilty. They believe that they were compelled to come to a verdict on all 3 charges. So a misunderstanding, and that failure to do so would mean it was a mistrial. The juror said that they were coming forward because it wasn't right. So they felt morally obligated to come forward, and that if asked, every one of the jurors would agree that they voted to acquit her of murder. So my question to that is, why only if asked? Why only if asked? If they feel this strong, why anonymously either? Like, come on. I would say to them, it's time to suck up whatever fears you have, whatever anxiety you have, because whatever you have, Karen Reed's feeling it 100 times more than you. 100 times more. You'd also be like a hero. Ask Lucky Lochran. That man will never pay for a drink in Canton for the rest of his life after the ballsy testimony and truthful testimony that he gave, right? You know, freaking Crash Daddy will live in the minds of 40-year-old women everywhere as they make love to their husbands for the rest of his life. He will always be on their minds after his testimony. So, you know, what are they waiting for? Like, why do they need somebody to come to them? Why not, if asked? Like, why don't they just, if I were them, I would just put together a statement and be like, we, the jury, just to be clear, we voted 12-0, but we were under the impression that we had to agree on all 3. And this was never made clear to us. You know, I would put that on record because it's just not the same. It's not the same when it's Jackson saying this stuff, because they're like, Jackson's a liar, Harvey Weinstein, and blah, 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 blah. They always say Harvey Weinstein and Kevin Spacey, and therefore he's a scumbag and blah, blah, blah. It's like, so they just got to come forward. That's what I would say to them. And that's not jury tampering. So there's that. And I can tell you, and by the way, like so there's a 5th juror. As far as I'm concerned, this is confirmed because I know this is a fact. So I know the name. I only know the name of one of the jurors. He's the foreman. And he's the former police officer who the defense liked because of the former aspect of police officer. And sharp guy, obviously. And he left policing, I think, in 2016, according to his LinkedIn, to become a physician's assistant for surgeons. PA is basically like your doctor. I mean, I never even see my doctor. I always see my PA. So he goes there and he's been there for a long time, and he's obviously pretty smart, and he's telling some surgeons. So I talked to somebody who works there. I didn't talk to somebody who talked to him directly. So I'm talking to a person who talked to a surgeon who talked to him, and he is telling various surgeons that he was one of the guilty voters on manslaughter, but he was not guilty, and he confirms 12-0 on murder. So this is a 5th juror confirming not guilty on murder. To me, it's an even stronger one because he admits that he's one of the guilty on manslaughter people. And his reasoning behind this was that, well, how did the microscopic pieces of taillight get caught in John O'Keefe's shirt? That's what he couldn't get past. And it's like, bro, because first of all, they planted it. And secondly, like, look at this testimony from one of the MSP criminalists. I don't know if it was Hartnett or the other one, Valaire. The debris that you ultimately got from the shirt or shirts, you don't know if that debris may have been in the bag and the shirts picked up the debris in the bag or otherwise. Correct? Correct. Because they were housed together. Yes, together. That's correct. So my question, the pieces that you saw were not embedded in a shirt when you examined them. Correct? Correct. Okay. So again, that's because you never took possession of any shirt. So they didn't actually take possession of the shirt. They just shit gets sent to them. And they're like, well, this was in the shirt. Trust me, bro. Trust me, bro. Here's a sample of a swab. It came from a shirt. Trust me, bro. There's no canine DNA on it, right? Yeah, trust me, bro. There's a lot of that going on with this whole shenanigan. So, again, to me, this is 5. There's 5 jurors that are all saying this, and the Commonwealth offers their opposition. Oh, Mark's here. I'm going to bring Mark up. We're going to talk about the Commonwealth's opposition to this. How you doing, Mark?
Hey, what's up?
Not much. So I watched you on Melanie earlier, and I agree with you that I don't think Auntie Bev's going to do anything transformational.
What, on the juror thing? No, she's going to deny it, and then hell will break loose. But
what do you mean hell will break loose?
Well, if you were a juror and you believe you acquitted someone of murder, and then you found out that they're going to get retried potentially for murder, although I don't think that'll happen. Juror wouldn't know that. And the defense attorneys try to file a motion just to kind of flesh it out. The DA files a response that basically says, I don't care what the jury says. It doesn't matter. They're done. They didn't do it the right way. So too bad for you. Lawyers should have done this. And then the judge says, I don't want to hear from you either. If you're a juror and you have that on your conscience, what are your options at that point? You go public, and you want people to know what really happened. And they probably speak to people like you or others and let it out and explain in gory detail what happened, because they don't want that on their conscience. If their position is we acquitted her, and that's not what the court is going to do because they didn't enter the verdict properly because they were confused and they can't even explain that, then there's nothing else for them to do other than share with it publicly and just make the scandal get worse.
But what if they're afraid of like being doxxed or putting themselves out there?
They've already contacted the lawyers. I mean, it seems to
anonymously, their names aren't out there. Like the Twitter trolls aren't making memes yet.
Okay. So if I'm a juror and I want to speak to you and I say that the the cost of doing business is I don't want to tell you my name, you're going to do that interview if you can verify who they are through some other means, right? If you trust what they're going to tell you. So, yeah, I mean, I think eventually it just invites it to come out.
Yeah, I think it would be obviously, and this is fantasy, but like it would be a really strong statement if like the 12 of them just write something up and they sign it and say, here is what we all agreed happened. We all were voting. We had this figured out by Wednesday, and then we got stuck on manslaughter for a few days, but like the murder was off the table and we didn't even consider it after that.
Yeah, that's another way they could do it. Yeah. Sure. I mean, they can do it any way they want at that point. They can, like you said, just write something, publish it. The bottom line is, I mean, how would you feel if you were a juror who you believe acquitted someone? If that's the case, I mean, all they're really asking for is a hearing to flesh it out. Maybe it wins, maybe it doesn't. But if 12 out of 12 jurors are satisfied amongst themselves that we, honest to God, acquitted her of a crime that could result in a life sentence, and nobody's listening to us, and we now find out she may get retried for that exact same crime, God forbid, what if she gets convicted? You want that on your conscience? I wouldn't.
No. So, yeah, I mean, it takes, we'll see. I'm just wondering what they're waiting for. Like, to me, you already put all this effort in. You felt strong enough to go to David Yannetti or Alan Jackson in the first place. Like, what are they waiting for? I don't, and even if they did all come forward, 12 of them said that, she'll still ignore them.
Yeah, she's gonna adopt what they said in their response, which is, Mr. Yannetti, you had a chance and you didn't speak up, and that's what it is.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. Do you think that argument holds any validity to it? The fact that the defense was actually the first on record to be like, we're cool with the mistrial.
Well, but that came up during the first time, and things changed. The last time when they were read the whatever they called in Massachusetts, the Tui Rodriguez charge, and they came back, what happened before she met with the jury? Nothing. She didn't show them the note. She didn't say to either side, what do you want me to do? Does anyone have anything they want to be heard? They just brought them out, and she said, I'm declaring a mistrial. And the jury didn't know at that point that that was the end of it necessarily. At least that's what seems to be suggested in the latest Jackson affirmation, that they were just caught off guard, didn't know what to do. But the other thing is this: are you going to focus on form or substance? I mean, it's a fair argument, I think, for the DA to say you may have waived your right, but when you have jurors coming forward on their own within 24 hours saying, oh my God, this is not right, let me tell you what happened, and they're representing that all 12 of them would say that, you're talking about one of the most fundamental constitutional rights imaginable, not to be tried twice for the same crime after I've been acquitted the first time. That seems to me worth saying, you know what? Let's flesh this out. Let's get the evidence. Let's have a hearing, and then say to the DA, I'll let you make that argument. I will let you argue they waived it, but I'm not going to just not listen to why didn't the jury publish the verdict. I mean, if you look at all the case law they cite and all the policy they cite about, oh, you don't want to bring jurors back, and if they don't publish a verdict, it doesn't count.
Was that Bluford, the Bluford one?
Yeah, Bluford, they're misusing. That one doesn't even really, I don't think it helps them that much. Can get to that in a minute. But the cases that they're citing for not bringing in jurors, and if you don't publish a verdict, it doesn't matter. That's what controls. It has to be entered. What appears to be the argument that's going to be made based upon what they're telling the lawyers is, we didn't publish a verdict because we didn't know how to. We were confused. We didn't know what to do based on what we were told. And how do you not listen to that? I mean, if there was a non-meeting of the minds, but they all tell you this is what we meant to do, shouldn't you listen to that and then apply the law as you see fit, make a decision? But I think throwing this out completely doesn't make sense. As far as Bluford, I don't know why they're all hung up on Bluford. You know, in that case, the jury came back and said, we want to acquit on murder, and we're hung on other counts. So it sounds kind of similar. And the judge in that case said, that's great, get back to work, go. And then they came back and they said, okay, we're hung. And the court issued a hung jury. And then the defense in that case said, well, fine, but we want the acquittal on murder. They told you we're acquitting. And the Supreme Court, this is kind of a common sense thing, said, but that was before. And then you went back and deliberated more, which means someone could have changed their mind. And that's true. You don't know. Maybe they wouldn't. But in other words, it wasn't final deliberations. So they weren't going to enter a partial verdict because you don't know that any particular juror or jurors could have changed their mind. In this case, they came back, presumably, assuming the affirmations are accurate, they all agreed to acquit, and then the judge dismissed them. They did not go back and deliberate further, so their deliberations were done. That's kind of a big distinction.
So couldn't they argue though? They'll probably, I think they said this.
They argue a lot.
They do argue a lot, but couldn't they say that, like, okay, so they voted 12-0 to acquit on Wednesday. Well, what's to say that one of them didn't change? Like, they just stopped talking about the murder charge, right? But it was never official. So, like, what's to say? Like, it was never an official vote. It was just kind of like a unofficial thing. So you never checked the box. So how do we know that since Wednesday to Monday, somebody didn't change their mind on that?
Those are fair questions. And the way to get the answer is to get information from the jurors. And ultimately, if there's a hearing and they testify, the DA would have every right to make that exact point on cross-examination. And if they get that evidence out, then you'd say, you know what? There's no verdict. I mean, look, what I'm saying is the judge ought to have a hearing. I'm not saying she should rule necessarily on these affirmations from the lawyers for the defense, but I mean, you ought to flesh it out, and it goes where it goes. And if the jury says that we had a verdict when we were called in the last time, and when we sent that note, that's what we were, then the defense would argue then the deliberations were done. As far as why didn't they check the box off, that's a fair question. And I mean, wouldn't you like the foreperson to answer that? I don't know what the answer to that is, but there's got to be some answer. If he's saying we had a verdict, He didn't check it. Why not see what it is before you just deny this on the papers? This is going to be another black eye for, I mean, this whole case looks ridiculous for a lot of reasons. And this is just going to be another example, I think, of people saying everything in this case is just so weird. I mean, you have to understand this never happens ever.
You never heard of this before?
Never. Jurors on their own calling lawyers and saying, "Oh my God, we just saw." I mean, it's kind of funny because
it's only fitting that it's this case, is it not? Just like nothing about this case has been normal. There's no other way for this case to end.
No,
like
and
this.
It's probably on this case because you have like online lunatics who make stuff up and we're saying, "Oh my God, it's true." I mean, that's probably ironically either
catalyst.
Some crazy human or towel, as it were, is responsible for this, probably, right? I mean, there's something deliciously ironic that this comes to light because of that. But all kidding aside, that's what it is. And if it wasn't for like social media, no one would know about this. So they're, all the cases that they're citing, whether they go from the 1880s or some of these other cases, they're not really equipped to deal with this situation. They all talk about cases where defense attorneys say something's weird. We want to haul the jurors in and grill them. In this case, they're saying they came to us, at least 2 directly, 2 of them through an intermediary. They're telling us all 12 would say this. They're asking for a hearing. Seems to me that would be the prudent.
And they have a group text. So for them to say that, like, all 12 of us would say this, it seems to indicate that the 12 of them seem to agree and like they would come forward. And like I said, they spent 10 weeks of their life on it. And it's like they did nothing with the mistrial. It's like, I mean, don't you have any honor? And like, we did get something done. We did leave our mark in this way. We did say she was not guilty.
Well, there's another wrinkle here too. They met with the judge after the non-verdict. Now, that may very well have been nothing other than thank you for your service and it sucks and I'm sorry. But if there are jurors who in theory would say, we're all looking at each other and looking nervous. What do we tell her? Should we tell her? That could be indicative one way or the other about whether, they felt that they were getting screwed by not letting the court know what the actual verdict was. I mean, I know one of the affirmations talks about the bus ride, how they're all freaking out. I mean, there's a lot of breadcrumbs here, which I think suggest that this is not some kind of desperate ploy. The lawyers are not making this up. They don't sign their names to affirmations under penalty of perjury.
Yeah, no.
These guys are, A+ lawyers. They've got better things to do than this kind of nonsense. This is real, and it may not have ultimately legal merit, but how do you not at least err on the side of not trying a woman who is acquitted for murder? I mean, and that apparently doesn't bother anyone in the Norfolk DA's office.
No, because they're basically like rules are rules, even though they don't even necessarily.
No backsies. They didn't check the box. No backsies. Go away.
Yeah,
go away.
Exactly. It's like, oh, who cares about ethics or the fact that an innocent woman rules are rules, and this is how it's done. Like, should have like the rules are rules.
And this is how tone deaf they are. I mean, if these people would simply have said, look, we think they waived their right, but we recognize this is a serious constitutional right that merits further exploration. We will reserve our argument if the judge allows us to say they waived, but we, if you let us make that argument, we'll consent to the court taking evidence. And they don't look nearly as bad as they do now. All they're going to do is make the scandal worse and make themselves look even more unfair and more desperate to just nail her for anything.
Like Bev hates evidentiary hearings. On May 24th of last year, an evidentiary hearing, May 25th of last year, an evidentiary hearing was scheduled, and Proctor, Brian Albert, and Jennifer McCabe were all supposed to testify at it. And Bev is the one who at the May 3rd pretrial hearing scheduled this. We said we're going to have an evidentiary hearing. On May 23rd, the Commonwealth filed a motion to cancel the hearing. And on May 24th, they had an emergency hearing after Alan Jackson and Eliza Little had been flown in I went to the hearing on May 24th, and she just canceled the evidentiary hearing that was supposed to take place the next day, and it never happened. And her reasoning was, by law, I'm not required to have an evidentiary hearing. So she hates evidentiary hearings. She hates the theatrics of this all.
Listen, it's going to get worse because I really think it's short-sighted by all of them. I mean, if you're these jurors and you look at the DA's response and they read about it. I mean, now they see all the news. I mean, they saw the news. That's why they came forward. What do you mean it's hung? And they said she was going to get almost convicted on murder. That's not true. When they see the DA's response, which is just basically saying nobody cares what the jury, they're too dumb to know how to check off a box. We shouldn't listen to any of this nonsense after the fact. And if you were one of those jurors, you would be upset because the idea that we acquitted her and she's potentially at risk of a retrial on a charge that could get life in prison when we said she's not guilty, that's going to drive them nuts.
It's like it's basically saying intent doesn't matter. Like what the jury intended to do doesn't matter because the rules are the rules. It's like the hanging chads from the 2000 election. It's like when you looked at the ballots, it's like, well, the thing's coming off. The machine didn't read that, but the thing's coming off. It looks like they were going to vote for Gore or whoever there. It's like this is the same. It's like, well, their intent was to vote for acquittal, but they didn't check the box.
They're all about form over substance. I mean, they're all about, was it a mistrial consented to or not? And that's the be all end all. And the fact that a woman could get tried twice for the same crime is whatever. Doesn't matter.
No,
that's not how it works here.
But they know she's not going to get convicted the second time around. So what's their goal? Or do they?
I think they, Karen Reed, bad, lawyer make motion, we argue. Like, I think it's kind of like Neanderthal logic that if lawyer says this, we say that, fight. And I don't think that they have a very savvy public relations operation.
No, definitely not.
They clearly have a lack of self-awareness just in reading the room.
Courtney Proctor's message, talk about self-awareness.
Oh my God. And they're zombies. And by that, I mean, you can't humiliate them. The biggest asset of any lawyer, any real lawyer, is valuing your own credibility. And these people don't care. You can shoot them down and they just rise from the dead and come at you again. And they don't care. You can't humiliate them. So you just have to keep trying and they just keep getting up. And so they don't care.
Yeah. So let me pivot to my situation because people were saying in the comments, have you read my indictments or anything? The charging documents?
We were talking about it elsewhere and watched some of your hearing from yesterday.
Yeah. So it's a lot to it. I'll send you the whole charging documents. It's 70 pages, but to sum it all up, our witness intimidation statute in this state is, I've studied them all in all 50 states. I understand the need for a witness intimidation statute because you can't have witnesses who are threatened by gangsters into not testifying, right? Physical harm. But we're the only state in the country whose witness intimidation statute is so broad that it says that you can't attempt or threat to cause physical harm, emotional harm, or financial economic harm to anyone who is a witness, potential witness, family member of witness, or somebody who announces that they're planning on attending a criminal proceeding. So anybody in the gallery it would be covered under the statute with the attempt to impede a criminal matter in some way, shape, or form. So anybody who does that. So the problem with emotional harm is it's subjective. Chris Albert says his feelings are hurt, which is what happened. Colin Albert told the police he was sad, and so he's experienced emotional harm. So that aspect has been satisfied. We just have to take his judgment. Chris Albert says he's been losing money in business, so that's economic harm. That element is satisfied. And then with the impede, obstruct, or whatever justice, all they had to say, it was like a script. All of these people told police the same thing. Well, why do you think he's doing? Why do you think he's saying the stuff about you? Because I'm a witness in the Karen retrial and he doesn't want me to testify. Like that was the script that they were all given. They all told police that. And all of the things I don't even know. The evidence in this is, I admit to it. It's all on the internet. Like all this stuff.
The fact that they are witnesses is a fact if they are in fact witnesses, but if you're not trying to impede their ability to be a witness, in other words, if you're going to do this anyway, then what does your intent have to do with somebody being a witness. And when somebody's acting in a journalistic capacity as well, it creates a whole nother can of
Yeah,
worms.
I mean, sometimes I'm acting in a journalistic capacity. Sometimes I'm just sharing my feelings or being an activist. Like when I call, so I'll show you a couple of videos here, and I published it in an article today. So at my hearing the other day, basically, I'm not going to get into the Rule 17 motion stuff with the phone because I don't even want to talk about her, but I do want to talk about the bill of particulars. So like, you obviously know what a bill of particulars is, right? They have this in New York. Yeah.
They do.
It's kind of important because it's like,
It
especially
helps to know when you're indicted for crimes, what the hell they're accusing you of doing. Yes.
Right.
That's kind of helpful to know how to defend with what I'm charged with.
So they read my charging documents out loud at my arraignment, and I'm like, it was like reading my greatest hits. They're like talking about all the stuff I said on my show and did, and they're just making it sound more dastardly and sinister. So they take a bunch of quotes and then they just copy and paste the witness intimidation statute. But at no point do they say how this became illegal. And that's what you need a bill of particulars for. So we asked for one, they consented, and then they finally passed in something like a month ago. And it's just a copy and paste of the charging documents. It's like, no, we read the charging documents. We're confused about what I did that was illegal. And my lawyer made, I don't know, what did you think of Tim's speech the other day towards the end when he was just like about
Well, I think it was a nice preview of a motion to dismiss on numerous grounds, and in the event of a trial, a nice salvo on what a summation could be, again, when someone's a journalist being accused of talking to people. And I don't know why this is the hill that these people would die on. It's just not the kind of thing you do. You don't try to create precedent on a case like this for a statute that's never used in this capacity, assuming the statute is even constitutional on its face, which it sounds like it may.
It's not. Yeah.
No, I mean, I would challenge the whole statute.
Yeah.
And I would, I would certainly, as applied to a journalist, which is another way to attack it on First Amendment grounds. And of course, there's this concept of selective prosecution, which would be interesting. I mean, we were talking about this elsewhere. My recollection was sometime during the trial that another certain person, again, or towel, depending on how you view them, would get right in Karen Reed's face and say all kinds of nasty, embarrassing things to her. Now, she attends trial. She's potentially a witness at a trial, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why was that okay? If you're and he claims he's a journalist doing these things, why is, now look, do I think he should get arrested for that? No, I just think he's obnoxious and a terrible person. But
because Karen Reed's defendant is not listed in the statute, so you can do whatever you want to the defendant. You can't do it to a cop, though.
Why is she not a possible witness? Sure,
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Why,
that's
why
a good
is
point.
She not someone who is attending a court proceeding? She damn well is attending every court proceeding. Why not? There's no license to harass someone because they're a defendant as opposed to someone else. I mean, the whole point is, what if the intimidation is a way, oh my God, I'm being accused of having an affair with a lawyer or someone else. I don't want to get cross-examined about that, or I'm nervous, so now I don't want to testify as the defendant. Couldn't that be witness intimidation?
It could be. Anything could be. Anything could be, according to this statute.
This statute, as you said earlier, is designed to prevent people with crooked noses holding baseball bats saying, if you testify against whatever, I'm going to break your kneecaps. That's what witness tampering is.
Right.
If you do this, I'm going to make up all kinds of stuff about you. That's a far cry from somebody who is, acting in a journalist capacity.
So check this out. So speaking of, right, so this case I have here, this was this kid right here, his name is Alonzo Polk. About 2 or 3 years ago, he was at a graduation party. He had just graduated from Dedham High School, and it was at a state police trooper's house named James Coughlin. And James Coughlin, for whatever reason, was letting underage drinking take place inside his house. This kid couldn't swim, and he was alone at the pool, I guess, and he fell in the pool and he drowned. Okay. And James Coughlin was charged with some sort of crime. I forget what it was. But it was in district court, so it wasn't even superior, but he was in trouble for it. So anyway, a bunch of his brother started leading protests outside of the Coughlin's home. And like, here they are marching outside of his, the home, like leading protests out there. Like, here they are. They went out at 4 a.m, I guess, and were protesting outside of this Coughlin's home. And there they are, you know, all over the place. So, like, it's been highly documented. And in one of the incidents, which is memorialized in a police report, they went to one of the homes of the witnesses and told them, you need to change your testimony. When the kid said, I'm not changing my testimony, he punched him in the face. Okay. And then on the day when these guys took a plea, when Coughlin took a plea and his wife took a plea, on their way out of court, they were assaulted by the kid's brother on their way out of court. And he ended up finally being arrested. To this day, the Norfolk County DA's office in the same courthouse I'm in has not charged anyone with witness intimidation. They, despite going to a witness's house, telling them you need to change your testimony or else, when they don't, sock it to them.
Well,
and not charged.
These are the arguments that lawyers make to show selective prosecution. I mean, that's an open and shut case of harassment, or intimidation, no matter how awful you feel and can, you know, that the kid did what he did. But you can't obviously show up at a witness's house and say, you better not say this or else. I mean, that's classic witness intimidation. But if that's not being charged, the other nonsense outside the courthouse is not being charged. And then somebody, again, who's acting in a journalistic capacity is being charged. These are things that have to be brought to their attention. I mean, what's the common denominator here? Why here, but not there?
Yeah. So I'm not sure how many of these videos you've seen, but I wanted to show some of them to you. So again, so this is like, one of the things I'm being charged with so many things, right? And like, I would go out.
House.
I go
left out to die. Yes. Is that Jill? Is that Jill?
Oh, there's Jill
Daniels.
Oh yeah.
Where's my friend Jill Daniels? Jill, I know you're watching, Jill.
I would say
Come
blood
sit-
pizza
come get- had to
and
drop out of Bridgewater State because he's being questioned.
Colin Albert was in the house.
That he rigged. But he got all this.
So this is on a public sidewalk, okay, on a public street on Main Street, and I'm like holding signs. This is an elected official, by the way, and I'm saying he should resign from office. He's a loser. Colin was in the house, and they're saying that this is witness intimidation because it's hurting Chris's feelings and it's causing him economic harm.
You know, the reality is this. So suppose that none of these Alberts were witnesses. Would you care?
The son was.
Would I care?
Yeah.
Yes. Like,
Okay.
what do you mean? What do you mean? Like, what I like?
No,
Yeah.
I'm saying that, you know, your opinion of them and what you're saying, it's not predicated on them being witnesses per se. They're
No.
just, that's what I'm saying.
They're losers.
like-
I just don't like them.
Right. For
Yeah.
reasons of whatever you've investigated and whatever.
Yeah.
So, but the point is, when they tie this around as witness intimidation, that's not what it's about.
Right.
It's just about I have from doing the research that I've done, believe they are what they are, whatever. And I have a right to say it, this and that. What makes it a crime is this, they're trying to tie it down to them being witnesses, and that it relates to them being witnesses.
And it's funny because the cops actually came. And so Chris Albert called the cops on me. They rolled up and they chose not to arrest me. They
Told them we'd wait here. I mean, we just tried to go in and then he just kicked us out. And then I have no problem not trying to go. I just wanted to talk to him for a second. I did leave because I'm not inside. So we got it. I mean, it's fine. I have no intention of staying at all. I just figured he told me he was calling the police. So I figured I'd just stick around till the police got here to make things clear that we're. Oh, I have no idea. I mean, what would you say the issue is? It's like I walked in and he started yelling at me and told me to leave because he recognized me and started yelling at me and he goes, "You need to leave." I go, "Okay." I got the whole thing on video. So at no point do I say, "I want to stick around." He goes, "I'm calling the cops on you. You're going to get it, blah, blah, blah." So I didn't call the police. I have nothing to, but we could have gotten in the car and left, but I figured he goes, "They'll be here." No, I'm from Holden, outside of Worcester. Yeah, I'm from Turtleboy Daily News. Are you familiar with the Kearney case, the John O'Keefe murder? They have a 34 fear.
Never heard of it.
Place on the one. And
so anyway, long story short, he's like, "All right, all set here." And he just goes on his way. And then I later find out that actually that was witness intimidation. They just didn't realize it yet. They found out 3 months later that it was witness intimidation. And I don't know how much you saw of this rolling rally. They really hate the rolling rally. So on July 22nd last year, I organized a peaceful protest that hundreds of people attended, where we just went to the various home. We went to Michael Proctor's home, the McCabe's home, Brian Albert's new home in Norwood, and Julie Nagel's home. And outside each of their homes, I basically gave a 7-minute summation of what I believe their role was in the cover up of John O'Keefe's murder. At no point do I say, like, better fucking change what you're testifying about, or else we're going to get you. No one was even home. Like, they all knew. We announced we were coming. I filmed myself doing it. And not once during the entire day did we see a single police officer. They just let it all happen. It was peaceful. And then all of a sudden, when Brian Tully shows up at my house to arrest me, he tells me that actually the whole thing was picketing. That's another thing I'm being charged with, is picketing a witness, which is illegal, and felony witness intimidation. I guess you can't do that. I mean, what do you think?
Again, I mean, if they weren't witnesses, but they were just somehow involved in this whole sordid affair, I don't know that it would matter either way. I mean, it's just they're hyper focused on the witness intimidation statute and the emphasis of these people as witnesses, when that doesn't appear to be what it's about. I mean, if these people were just had information, knew things, but there's no reason to believe they were going to be witnesses, I'm assuming everybody would still show up and scream and yell. So I don't know why.
Yeah, there wasn't even in screaming and yelling. And as my lawyer pointed out, like, you know, like, you got to start, like, why we need a bill of particulars. Okay, so what can you tell me what I did that I'm not allowed to do, so that in the future people know that actually this stuff you think is legal is actually a felony? Like, was it the blood pizza sign? Was it the loser sign? Was it, you know, the fact that Chris says he has emotional injury? Was it the fact that I brought a crowd? Was it the crowd? Is it because the crowd had 200 people in it? Is it okay if it's 100? What about 50? What about 10? You know, is it the fact that I had a bullhorn? Like, they just said he did this. Listen, and it sounds bad on paper, but what about it was illegal?
There's going to be a retrial in the Karen Reed case, everybody, or theoretically. In other words, these people theoretically are witnesses. We know that, right? In theory. So if people now, knowing that, say, someone like Jennifer McCabe is potentially a witness in a murder trial, that seems obvious, or there's no reason not to believe it, even though you and I don't believe there'll be another trial.
Well, I knew Jennifer McCabe was going to be a witness.
No, my point is, so if people today know that Jennifer McCabe is a witness in an upcoming case and start saying she's a liar, she's no good, or they say things about her, are you witness tampering under Massachusetts law?
Yeah,
Okay.
if you say it to her. If you say it to her.
Well, okay. Or does it have to be to her face?
No, it doesn't. It could be on YouTube.
Okay. Again, this is the problem with the statute.
As long as Jennifer McCabe tells police that she's experiencing emotional harm.
That's what I'm saying. That's where the unconstitutional part comes from. I mean, is every single person who comments on a public case who says, I think that witness is a liar, or makes fun of her accent and says, you know, she was funny, whether somebody says another person's funny looking, or they make terrible pizza, whatever. Is this blood pizza under Massachusetts law? Is everybody, I mean, are they going to round up thousands of people and say they're witnesses?
Well, I think that's what my lawyer pointed out the other day. It's like, why now? Why him? Like, that's why we need a bill of particulars, because we need to force them to explain it, because he knows that no matter what they say, they're going to make fools of themselves, and there will be a follow-up question. What about this?
The other part that's going to relate to targeting, and, you know, or what lawyers call selective prosecution, is, you know, one of the videos that we watched a snippet of earlier, the whatever his name is, from the Cosgrove, is that his name?
Yeah, Cosgrove.
He was describing, I guess, some grand jury testimony of Matt
McCabe, yeah.
And putting aside the fact that it was very qualified, I think it wasn't even very specific, but he described some of this rally thing, and he said that another person, like, got in the face of the Ring camera and was yelling nasty things. And the question for the police on the case is going to be, well, clearly that person must have been committing witness intimidation. And certainly as a diligent officer, you took steps to identify and arrest that individual for witness tampering. I think we know what the answer to that must be, which is no, it's not about those people. So again, the argument is, are you targeting one person for this, or are you really concerned about witness tampering? The other problem they have is they hate you. They're coming after you because you expose them. So in terms of when they testify,
but they won't be able to say that. The district, they won't be able to say, like, we don't like him. They can't say that for the reason, the bill of particulars.
Well, they may not be able to say that, but it's certainly relevant on cross-examination to argue that there is a specific bias against me. I mean, you would have a right to bring that out if your lawyer chose to do that, to show a jury that you're being targeted because you're humiliating these people and that they're retaliating against you.
Right. And this is the part about like, this is outside Jennifer McCabe's house. That was illegal. Like, we come here and I'm like,
all right. So we're going to watch everyone pull up in here. Obviously not many people here right now, but we got a whole procession behind that. The girl in front is not McCabe's kid. Now we know that. Nobody ever said that the girl in the front was McCabe's. So, let people roll in. Some people just walk. The Proctor household is like literally a quarter mile from the McCabe household. But they don't know each other. They don't know. But according to Adam Lowey, Lunchbox Lowey, he actually said this with a straight face, that those are not, the girl in front is not McCabe's, school age, probably like Jem McCabe. Here we are at the home of Jen and Matthew McCabe and all of their 4 daughters, who I do feel bad for. When I first heard this story and I read about it, I'm like, and I found out that Jem McCabe had kids, I'm like, that's kind of sad. Like, the mother's obviously going to go to jail for this. And it's sad whenever our kids are separated from their parents like that. But the more I've learned about Jen McCabe, she doesn't really give a shit about her kids very much. And honestly, her kids need to see mom in jail because the cycle will repeat itself. If they think that they can just live life like this and cover up murders and be involved in stuff like this, then what kind of values are they learning? So if you're unfamiliar with the case, I mean, look at all these fucking...
There's just a bunch of people in the street. No one's on the property.
High school, like in a suburban area. And it's just packed. Like, was friends with John O'Keefe's niece.
People are driving by.
They come there. And he was immediately to cover this up. She was worried about you, but
looking
she
for the part with the
John
mailbox.
gave 2 people a ride home, including one person who lives close to Google at 227. If you're not worried about somebody dying in the cold, and if you believe, as you told police, 3 a.m. when Karen then told them something, but apparently wasn't enough, hang out there for a couple more hours, and then decide to get in the cars during the middle of the.
All I'm doing is
it's like in case they don't already know,
reading one of my blogs out loud. Like
at 12.
Right.
They're cop killers. These are cop killers, folks. These are cop killers that live here. They could have saved John O'Keefe's life and send them to jail for the rest of their 78 Highland Street.
And then on the way out, I think somebody goes up to the ring camera on the mailbox and like waves and says, "Hi, Jen." And it wasn't me, but you're right. It's like, how come they're not being charged and why? Like, they're going to have to explain how all those people weren't participating in a felony, but I was. Like, I don't want those people to be arrested or anything, but
no, of course not. But you're making the obvious point, which is that this is selective and biased.
And this is the other incident that Matt McCabe testified about. So I want to ask Jen McCabe a question about this. And so what am I going to do? I'm going to go to somewhere where I know she's at. Like, I know she's going to go to this lacrosse game, and they can call this controversial or not. But if there's any kids around, I'm not going to do it. They're at the top of the bleachers with no children are around. And I go right up to them and I just ask them a question and listen to Matt McCabe's demeanor, that the grand jurors see this too. And I can't say what they say, but they ask some interesting questions when I come up to them here. Hey, Matt, how you doing, pal?
How you been?
Good. How are you doing? How you doing? Hey, Jen, how you doing? I know how short you were. Fancy seeing you here. How are you?
How you been? All right.
So how did court go the other day?
Went great.
Sorry, do you have a child on the team?
Do you?
I do, so I'm trying to watch.
No, I'm at a public event, so I can do whatever I want. So anyway, Jen, I have a question. Did you think that you could outsmart Karen Reed? Did you? Do you think that's funny? Do you think that's funny? How long to die in cold? What is this gentleman doing? Look at that. So he touches me. Hey, Jen, he pushes me. I'm like, are you worried about what's going to happen to your family when you go to jail?
Don't touch me.
Why are you shaking,
touch
dude?
Me again.
Why are you shaking?
Again.
Touch me
So
again.
Jen, are you worried about what's going to happen when your kids go to jail?
Touch me again.
When you go to jail, I apologize. To your children. Are you worried at all about that?
Huh?
Huh?
Touch
Oh,
me.
what's going on here?
Oh, you're so fast.
Oh, what are we doing?
How short you were.
Jen, did you think that you could outsmart Karen Reed? Yes or no? Did you? Why did you Google how long to die in cold, Jen? Why did you Google how long to die in cold, Jen? Why did you Google how long to die in cold, Jen? Do you have any answer for that?
Is that the perfect? It was just.
Do you have any answer for that?
So anyway, this goes on for like 3 or 4 minutes. She obviously doesn't answer my questions. Security comes over, and I tell him,
I'm just standing here trying to watch a game.
You're not a fan.
Outside the fence.
Well,
outside
you can do it outside.
plenty of room. Okay, so are you like, what law am I breaking right now?
This is our facility. We're asking you to leave.
They can't name
we
it.
have
What's
the right to
the
ask you to
problem?
leave.
I'm just okay. So I'm watching a game. What rule have I broken?
You're filming young girls.
Yeah.
I'm filming young girls? It's a
girls?
lacrosse game. A lot of people are filming girls. It's a lacrosse game.
What is your problem? Why
Are you saying you can't film lacrosse? Is that what you're saying? What's up? Because it's a free country. I'll film whatever I want. Because it's a free country.
But what are you filming for?
Because I want to film. It's a free country. What am I not allowed to film?
Did I say that? What is your?
Because I'm doing what I want to be free because I'm a free American living in a free country. So then what's the problem?
You're bothering people.
Who am I bothering?
These gentlemen.
Well, they killed a cop. They killed a police officer, John
Excuse me, sir,
O'Keefe.
we're done with
She Googled how long to die in cold
we're done.
while John O'Keefe was dying outside of a house.
So he wasn't. They're all upset about it. And finally, I agree to leave. And the part that they didn't like was the part on the way out when I did this.
Later. Bye. So she didn't want to answer. She didn't want to answer. I just want to find out how long to die in cold and why someone would Google that at 2:27 in the morning when a cop is dying on the front yard of 34 Fairview Road. And why 2 cop killers are up there. Cop killers. That's what they are. They're cop killers.
That's the part they really don't like because I called them. That's not journalistic. That's me putting on my activist hat and I'm sharing my opinions about them.
You're still allowed to have an opinion.
Right. Yeah.
Like in a public place and scream and yell. And again, I would emphasize, it's a witness intimidation statute. There has to be some connection to all this happening because they're witnesses. And if you're doing it anyway, that has nothing to do with being a witness. It's not like the concern is, oh my God, they're going to testify against me. So I need to go intimidate them and threaten them. Okay. This is not the kind of thing where you go after someone with a statute that's already as weak as the Massachusetts statute is over this and make an example.
Yeah, I want them to testify. That's the argument that the Commonwealth made. He's trying to prevent the trial from happening because he doesn't want these people to testify. You know how much money I made off of this trial? This trial was extremely good for business. Of course I want the trial to happen. That's the selfish part of me wanting the trial.
Are never going to want to try you before Karen Reed.
Before?
No way.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's not going to happen.
They're going to kick the can down. They don't want these people coming in, so she gets another round of transcripts.
True, yeah, because they'd all have to take the stand again. Now, here's another one where I go to her house. She has in Massachusetts. If you don't have a no trespassing sign on your lawn, anyone can come up to your door and ring the doorbell. If they have a no trespassing sign, you can't go on their property. She doesn't have one, so I go up to her door and I just ring the doorbell. The door is wide open for some reason. She just leaves the door open. And I'm like,
Wait, my dog's like that.
Yeah.
Everyone's got rings. Doors open. Someone must be home.
Someone must be
on the right. 3 cars in the driveway. We'd like to sell you some candy bars. For my Girl Scout.
Yeah, if the Girl Scouts came to the door, you're allowed to ring people's doorbell.
You're allowed to ring the doorbell,
right?
And the door's wide open to boot.
Yeah, and I'm allowed. And now they've all testified in their reports and stuff like that.
Wait a minute, that's a charge as far as you know. This?
Yeah, this was included. This was all included.
Nothing else. Just what we just saw.
Yeah, well, that's why we need the bill of particulars. They just list 80 things that I did.
But on this day, nothing happened.
This is one of the things that's listed in the charging documents that I went to her door and I looked inside the house. And they both testified that he was looking in our house and scaring us. We were so scared because he was looking in our house and ringing our doorbell. And Jen comes out. She comes out at one point and she sticks her head out.
See if they come to the door.
And I'm like, I see.
Definitely saw Jen in there. I think they can hear us on the ring too.
And
for how long to die in cold.
So
I guess she doesn't. Let me try one more time.
I tell her, Jen, I mean you no harm. Thanks, Chloe.
You're killing my dog. I'll mute myself.
Oh, sorry.
I guess she's busy, but I guess the kids are at school. Jen's home. Just leaves the door open, so we'll see.
We just leave, and that's a felony, I guess. Apparently, they haven't explained what part of that was illegal. Now, here's me outside of court. This is the first time I ever met her at the May 24th hearing where they canceled the evidentiary hearing.
Hey, Lally, are you in on the cover-up, or are you just a useless government stooge? Mr. Lally, why are you lying about Jen McCabe's kids not being in that photo with Michael Proctor? It's clearly them, Mr. Lally. Are you in on the cover-up? Are you worried about going to jail? Mr. Lally, you should be.
Now, this real quick. This is the guy who said at the trial when all that Katie McLaughlin stuff was going on that he was paying no attention to you and didn't know about any of this stuff.
Yes, he did say that, didn't he? Yeah, he was. He did. No, I don't even know. He's filed motions. He doesn't want me involved, but he also doesn't pay attention to anything I say.
I'm pretty sure he knows who you are.
Jen, why did you Google how long to die in cold at 2:27 in the morning, Jen? Any comment on that? Any comment on that? Thank you, sir. I see you guys wearing Justice for JJ shirts. How can you wear those buttons when you covered up his murder? Any comment on that? Why you Googled that at 2:27? Any comment, Mr. McCabe? Any comment? How can you show your face in court? Aren't you embarrassed? Aren't you ashamed? What are you hiding? What did you do? Why did you delete all those phone calls, Mr. McCabe? Why did you delete all those phone calls? Why did you delete your Google search, Mr. McCabe?
Matt pushes
Mr.
me
McCabe,
here.
I believe you said that you saw Karen Reed drive south on Fairview Road. Oh, excuse me, sir.
He actually
nice to see you guys got dressed up in court, though. Looking sharp. Looking sharp. So, I believe you guys both said that you saw Karen Reed drive south. Is that correct? South? So then how could she do a 3-point turn then if she was traveling south on that road? Any comment on that? No? Make sense to you? Why were you up at 4:53 in the morning, Miss McCabe? Why didn't you go to sleep? Were you drinking that night? You often drink a lot of alcohol, go to the bar, and then stay up till 4:53. Truth and justice, we're looking for it right now. We're looking for it. The Boston police officer was murdered in cold blood. And these people right here, who you're looking at, these people right here, they covered it up. They participated in the murder of a Boston police officer. These are cop killers, ladies and gentlemen. That's a cop killer right there. Cop killer. Cop killer. That's
I mean,
what you
again,
are.
how is this any different than, you get a high profile trial, a witness testifies. Suppose they're going to be on the stand for 2 days. And after the first day, they admit their role in some crime. They're a witness in the big sensational case. They come out on the front steps of the courthouse and all these reporters run up to them and say, "Why'd you do it? Why'd you do it? What?" Okay. And that they don't like the attention any more than these McCabes like it. But if that occurred in Massachusetts, is that witness tampering?
It is.
Apparently it is.
Yeah, unless you, I get, like I said, unless you do it to the defendant. But like you pointed out, the defendant can also.
No, there's no the defendant. There's no exception.
You're right. It shouldn't. You're right. It shouldn't.
But if it's not the defendant, the way this statute is drafted and the way it's being applied, they could go after a journalist for NBC News who says, "Mr. Jones, why did you do it? Why did you do it?"
Yep.
Do you feel any shame?
Well, Kathy Curran from NBC News went up to Michael Proctor a week or so ago and did the same thing. Went to his house, was told to get the fuck off my lawn, and somehow that's not witness intimidation, which is just wild. Now, this is Bukaki, the former, or at least the special prosecutor who was doing it, Ken Mello, used to talk about this a lot, and he'd always point out how I was using a bullhorn. And he said the First Amendment does not. They seem to think if you use a bullhorn, the First Amendment doesn't apply. So this is me confronting Bukaki outside of court.
Sergeant Bukaki, are you trying to arrest me for wiretapping? Why were you talking about me during your whole interview with Lucky Laughlin? What have you done to follow up on the Ford Edge? What have you done? What have you done to follow up on that Ford Edge that Lucky Laughlin told you about? Why did you not interview? Why did you not interview? Why did you not interview? Why did you not interview Lucky Laughlin? Why did you not interview Lucky Laughlin, sir, until August?
Look at him brandish his gun and badge here. He wants us to see that. He wants us to see that.
That's why you went to the academy, to cover for punks like Michael Proctor? You're Michael Proctor's bitch. That's all you are, son. You're Michael Proctor's little bitch. You're a fucking pig. You're a disgrace. You're a fucking disgrace.
Look at it. Watch how he does the
The
middle finger with the wheel. Watch this.
Right now, like this guy's a fucking joke. I can't believe I have to wear the same uniform as this clown, as this corrupt pig. Look at you. Look at you. You freaking pig. You disgust me. You disgust me. You loser. You loser. You freaking loser. Bukaki loser. Bukaki loser.
The First Amendment is a wonderful thing. It doesn't mean that you get arrested, especially for police officers. I mean, look, there's plenty of case law in New York where people go up to cops and they just say the worst things for no reason, and they have to take it. I mean, it just
Black Lives Matter. Remember that whole thing? Like that was in style for a while.
It is what it is, unless there's something worse than words. I mean, obviously, if somebody hits or spits in their face, that changes everything. But calling a cop a loser that comes with the job. It's unfortunate, perhaps, depending on your views, but that's not. I mean, you got arrested for that.
Yeah, I got indicted for that, for witness intimidation. That's a 10-year prison sentence potentially for that 1 minute of seeing a trooper on the job with a badge and a gun on him and attempting to ask him questions that he ignores. And then he doesn't answer my questions. So I get out the bullhorn and I call him
also, when you if they're really going to try a case like this, obviously a jury's going to want to know, well, why are you doing this? And they're going to open the door to allowing an explanation as to why am I calling, Buchanan this? And it's because, I think he planted evidence. I think he did this. I mean, whatever it is. I mean, they're inviting.
Yes, they are. But at the same time, the answer to that is because I felt like it. Because I'm a free American living in a free country, and I don't owe anyone explanation for why I'm exercising my freedom.
You don't owe anyone, but you're not going up to, John Smith in the middle of the street and calling him a fucking loser.
Right. But if I did, that's also protected.
It is. It is. Although people would think you're, a weirdo.
And like people, that's the whole thing. Like a video like that does not. My mother would not be proud of that video, right? The language I use, it's colorful. It's not appropriate. And so when they put that on paper, it's like, and they just throw all these things I said, and they're like, well, what a horrible guy he is. Look at him. He's out of control. And like, but they can't specifically say one of them, like which one of them is illegal. They just throw 80 things together and they're like, look at the summation of all this. He's bad. He's a bad guy. Shouldn't be able to say these things.
I don't know why they would waste their time with this in a criminal context.
I think it's because they just like having me out on bail. I mean, I did go to jail for 60 days, so it worked. Like I got my bail revoked for an A and B charge that got dropped. If I wasn't out on bail, that A and B charge would have meant nothing. Like, but it's the fact that I'm on bail. I drink one beer and I drive a car. It's like, boom, I go right back to jail. Like, I think they just want me on thin ice. I think that's the whole point. And this is the last one I'll show you. This is me. I got indicted for this one too. I go to the Proctor's house with Richie, and they're home, and they don't answer the door. But there's no trespassing sign on the lawn. Anyone can just do this.
Yes, hello. Oh, there go the dogs again.
Yeah, it's always dogs. Mute it.
There's 2 cars in the driveway. Hi, Elizabeth, Michael. I'm not sure if you guys are home right now. I'll try again one more time. I'm not sure if you guys are home right now, but there's 2 cars here. I don't hear the dogs barking. Oh. Spoke too soon. All right. So it doesn't appear. See if they're here.
They were here. They tested.
Doesn't appear as if they're here. I don't know. Like there's 2 cars here. So what's up? Oh, there's a kid. Oh,
there's a kid. There's a kid in the window. So they let one of the kids stray out. They forgot to put the kids in the closet.
And that's the charge.
So they like Elizabeth Proctor, when she talks to police, she loves to talk about the children. My poor children. He was coming after my children. And they claim that one of the children, Michael Proctor, I don't know if it was him or Elizabeth said this, that like that the children are scared of that turtle man. That's what they said. Like that turtle man is, I'm scared of the turtle man, daddy.
And if you're going over there because you want to interview him, even though is he going to be willing to talk? Probably not.
No.
And you go ring his doorbell because you want to talk to him for a story, and he says no, and that's the end of it. Would agree that's not a crime, right?
Yeah.
And these people. So how do they? I mean, are these the thought police?
Yeah.
It's like that Tom Cruise movie. What was that one about the future crimes in your head?
Yeah.
They're just deciding that because you went there, it had to be to harass a witness. What if it was to interview him for a story you're working
That's
on?
what it was. I'm just, as an interview, I'm curious. Like,
How do you possibly link that to being a witness as opposed to a journalist using the First Amendment to try to interview a witness or a subject for a story? Minority Report. That's
Yeah.
it. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, journalists are allowed to do it. Activists are also allowed to do it. You don't have to be a journalist to do what I'm doing. Like anyone can go up and do that, and it's legal. And like you saw in that video with Bukkake, there's a lot of people that were yelling shit at him. Like a lot of us holding signs, Free Karen Reed, the Roccos were there. We were all there. Everyone was there. And I'm the only one that got indicted for that. Like, not that I'd think anyone else should be, but again, they're going to have to explain why what I did was a crime as opposed to not everyone else. And I don't know how Cosgrove is going to do that without somehow, like, suppose he says, well, it's because of the bullhorn. Okay, so where is it in the statute says you can't use a bullhorn?
I don't understand the significance of the bullhorn. You're allowed. The First Amendment doesn't have a volume limit. I mean,
I know, right?
You can be loud or quiet. Now, if you're supersonic loud and at a time of day, maybe there's some other ordinance that they could, like a noise thing. But in terms of witness intimidation, the fact that you use a bullhorn or yell at the top of your lungs or don't, I don't think the First Amendment factors in the bullhorn aggravating factor. I'm not aware of that provision.
And like with this judge, I mean, Cosgrove is a retired judge. He's collecting 2 pensions, and it's like he's making over $200,000 a year. It's like, is that not enough to live on? You had to come out of retirement to declare war on the First Amendment. You need
He
to.
Sounds every bit of retired from what you're listening. Is he up to this? I mean, like stamina wise,
Somehow he's better than the other guy, Mello. I mean, he is actually somewhat more competent than him. But even it, like they just have no. There was one point where he was reading off. He's just like, well, I'm going to read something off of this warrant about what he said that's really bad. And he went looking through Tully's warrant, and then he just couldn't find it. And he's like, well, I can't find. I don't know what I was going to say. He's just going through the motions, collecting money. And like I said, I can't wait to see what they come out with for a bill of particulars, to see them actually explaining what part of this was illegal. Cause I still don't know. I get that this stuff was colorful. Not everyone likes it. It might offend some people, but like the whole point of the First Amendment is it's supposed to protect offensive speech. Anyone can get along with unoffensive speech.
That's the point. I mean, unless it becomes, some kind of something that has to be a lot worse than being offensive. Offensive speech is protected speech. You're allowed to do it. If it turns into threats and things like that, obviously there are times that the First Amendment is not literally absolute, but in terms of yelling at people in public and expressing an opinion on what they are, whether it be journalistic or otherwise motivated, is not a crime. And of course, Massachusetts has no right to have a statute that trumps the U.S. Constitution. I mean, obviously, the Constitution controls here, and the First Amendment is the be-all, end-all. And if the people in Massachusetts drafted this statute and they got a little creative and didn't think this through, this is not what that statute's intended for, clearly.
Yeah. But the thing, how do you get it overturned? I mean, one way is obviously a conviction, which we don't want. And then you can fight it in appeals court.
You move to dismiss and you argue that the statute's unconstitutional, both on its face as applied. It doesn't state, even if the statute is constitutional, it doesn't state a crime because of the First Amendment. I mean, there's a million arguments that I assume would be made. Selective prosecution. I mean, the example you said of the kid in Dedham, the football player's relative. I mean, that's as open and shut witness harassment as it gets.
Same DA. Same DA. Yeah.
Same DA. I mean, even the stuff that we were laughing about outside the courthouse that they're doing to Karen, it's no different. the stuff that was going on Proctor's lawn a couple of weeks ago, it may not be as offensive, but it's the same concept.
Mhm.
But I don't know how you can be charged with a crime for ringing Proctor's doorbell.
Yeah, one of them with Juliana Nagel, I say something outside of her house. Like I go, Juliana Nagel, you should just tell the truth. Like that's what they're trying to get me on, is that they haven't said this. I assume they're going to say this in the bill of particulars that like, well, his version of the truth means change your, he's really saying, that's his code for saying, change your testimony. He's telling her to change her testimony. It's like, but if her testimony is the truth now, and I'm telling her to tell the truth, then I'm not telling her to change anything. Right. So
yeah, no, I mean, again, why would they even want to have this argument?
Because these are because the McCabe's are a protected class. They don't like me. I mean, these are corrupt cops. Brian Tully, Michael Proctor, these people have no code of ethics or anything like that. They're just like, no, we have the badges and the guns. Like we decide who goes to jail.
So am I supposed to believe that they're going to call Michael Proctor to say I was harassed?
They have to call Michael Proctor to say this.
I don't think I'm pretty confident that one's going to get dismissed, even if not by a judge, by the DA. They're not calling Michael Proctor.
Michael Proctor, he spoke in front of the grand jury. He testified. All these people spoke in front of the grand jury that led me to be testified. And there was a couple that they tried to add on. Julie Albert, they failed. The grand jury didn't indict me on her. They tried to indict me on a wiretapping charge with Steve Scanlon. That failed. They tried to indict me on the assault and battery charge. That failed. They tried to indict Karen and I on March 27th on conspiracy to commit witness intimidation because they really want to prove that actually Karen Reed is the mastermind behind all this. She's the puppet pulling my strings because, they took my phone and they found out that her and I have been talking 189 times. And it must be about witness intimidation. That they don't know what was on those calls, but it must be. So they tried indicting me on that on March 27th, and nothing came of it. So I actually was the one to tell her lawyers that one of the last days of I went in there for the first time in that church, and I spoke to him briefly, and I'm like, did you know they tried to indict Karen on conspiracy to commit witness intimidation? And they said, what? I'm like, yeah, it was March 27th. I have the grand jury docs. I can't share with you, but yeah, they tried on both of us, and it didn't work out. And
it's interesting because the old expression, which actually does come from New York, but it applies everywhere, is that a grand jury would indict a ham sandwich.
Ham sandwich, yeah.
If you asked it to.
Yeah.
And the fact that they put that in front of a grand jury and they dumped it tells you a lot.
Yeah, this is inside my home. This is Tully, and that's the guy. What the hell was that guy's name? The guy that we didn't like. He was like running security outside the Karen Reed case. Nobody liked him.
I don't know. Look at Tully's got his SWAT gear on. Jeez, he was ready. I mean, is he wearing a vest?
Yeah, he's wearing his vest. Like they brought the state police fugitive unit to my house, for the most violent criminals. Like you could have just sent me a summons, and I would have come. But
they want to put the bracelets on,
right? He's got his warrant for my house, all this stuff.
They searched your house.
Yeah, they tore the house apart. They took pictures of my kids' underwear drawers. They went through everything.
I mean, I can understand electronics.
They were looking for witness intimidation.
The notebook, the secret notebook of how to intimidate witnesses that's in your kid's underwear drawer. That's where I keep mine. Yeah.
The probable cause to search my house and my devices was that I do a YouTube show where I commit witness intimidation, and that show takes place in the basement. Therefore, they need to search the house for more evidence of witness intimidation. And what they found, of course, were my notes and stuff like that, containing the names of confidential informants, stuff about them. They took pictures they got to go behind the screen and see.
That's the risk of when you bring a journalist into this. There could be confidential sources on investigations related to these people that they're now looking at.
That's what they want to see. They want to see what does this guy know? And I happen to be wearing a Free Karen Reed sweatshirt, which I was arraigned in.
Well, that's kind of a gratuitously good fact.
Yeah, I mean, of all the things to wear that day. So we are in the house, blah blah blah. Then they bring me down Okay, there we go. There's my car, blah blah blah. They bring me to the Holden. They bring me to the whole. I happen to have a state police barracks in my town, so they bring me there.
I'm assuming the DLTR.
They bring me upstairs. They book me. And there's my medication. Of course, my medication's sitting there in the foreground. That seems like a violation. But when he asks me what my aliases are, this is good.
Aliases.
Yeah. I tell him daddy. Like, it's like, no, I gotta see if I can find it. This is really boring. I sit here for like an hour. Oh, I'm like by myself. I'm like,
Excuse me.
come here.
God.
Excuse me. I just realized something. To get back in my house whenever I get home, I'm gonna need the garage door opener, which is in my car.
You're gonna have to bring that back. No. I don't never use a key. I don't even have a key to my house, I don't think.
I know, nobody
I'm
does
fucked.
anymore.
So I gotta see the part.
What we use for like a key. It's the only-
Disregard. No, I'm looking at it wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. 2027. Hold on. Let me get the R1 and all that.
Determine which pictures. I mean, there's some stuff in there that's.
Oh, this is when they're gonna go through my phone, and I'm realizing what's in my phone, and I'm like, dude. I wouldn't recommend it.
I understand.
And so, how are you gonna determine what you look at, what you don't?
Date range. So the search warrant.
This is Tully.
Dates.
What are the dates?
I don't have it on me, but I think it's.
So, any image I took during those times.
Yes.
What if they're inappropriate?
Just keep moving.
Yeah, Tully's gonna see it. You're gonna see it though first. I'll know it when I see it, he says. Okay. So
Jesus.
yeah.
I'm just wondering if you found it.
Get the paperwork? No, that's just yours. Okay, hold on. Let me.
Can I push my own bail?
Hopefully within 20 minutes. As soon as.
Oh, okay. This is when he explains the charges. Hold on.
Michael Proctor, Julie Nagel.
Yeah. Because I had no idea what I was arrested for yet. So I'm like asking him, like, so what am I here for? What did I do?
Jeez.
And there's 8 for those. And what else?
The picketing. Michael Proctor.
Picketing.
Julie Nagel, Jen and Matt McCabe.
So
Julie Nagel.
I'm like,
Julie Nagel is it?
Yes.
Julie Nagel, Matt McCabe, Jen McCabe.
Michael Proctor.
Not Elizabeth.
Because she's a wife, she's not an actual witness, so she doesn't fall under the picketing statute.
oh, only the other one.
Intimidation is a different. Yes, that's a different charge. If you intimidate a family member of somebody who's a witness, then that is covered in the statute.
Okay. So picketing. So that's 8 felony witness intimidation charges and 4 misdemeanor picketing.
Yes.
Charges.
Yeah, picketing is illegal.
1 count of conspiracy.
And throwing a conspiracy.
Is that a felony?
Yes.
Okay. Added.
Conspiracy with Janelle Webb to obtain R&B registration information.
Okay.
To use as intimidation.
We ran the license. So we ran the license plate. She worked as a dispatcher, and she ran a license plate for me because we got a picture of Jen McCabe's car at the Proctor's house, and I wanted to make sure it was hers. So we double checked the license plate, and then they said that's conspiracy to commit witness intimidation to report the news is a felony, I guess. So yeah. But this is like, I couldn't believe when this. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, so she hasn't been charged yet? Okay. Why am I? So how do you commit a conspiracy by yourself?
If you have, multiple personality disorder, I suppose you could.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't know.
So I asked him about the Ford Edge here.
Various states.
And there's 1 count for each. So not like separate ones for Chris because I went to Chris's pizza place sometimes.
No, it's 1 count for the different instances. So pizza place, telephone calls are all together in 1 charge.
Okay.
Opposed to Yeah, every time he beats up, they'll lump together for one charge.
And the conspiracy with Janelle Webb.
Yes.
To intimidate a witness?
Yes. I just want to make sure that he's got the log right.
I'm like, is this? I thought I was being punked. I'm like, is this a joke? This can't be real. You know. I want to see the part where I call him daddy. Hold on. I'll find it another time. I don't want to waste your time, but I'll have to timestamp it and upload that video later. But it's pretty funny. But anyway, thank you for coming on, Mark. Can I email you the charging documents just so if you want to look them over and have some fun with it?
Yeah, I'll send you a message with the email address.
Okay, great. Awesome. Well, thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. Know your time is valuable and always a pleasure to have you on, sir.
Take care. All right.
Thank
Talk to you later. Bye.
Talk to you.
Bye.
Yeah, I'm really excited. Yeah, now that the Karen Reed thing's dying down, I'd like to hear the law tubers, you know, with their thoughts on my witness intimidation charges. And I think that the more eyes on this, the better, because it's just really outrageous, man. Like, it's freaking outrageous. And that whole booking video, most of you probably haven't seen that before. I will start uploading all these videos to YouTube just so we have them on the record. You guys can watch them on your own. I forget. That's where my mugshot actually takes place somewhere in here. Let me see.
What's the question? Can you pay bail by check?
Can you?
I think so. I'll call the clerk right now.
Yeah.
7, 8. Okay. Nice.
Did you just place a phone call?
Tried.
Who did you call?
My mom.
Which is her name is?
Mary Mulaney.
Okay, she's on the line. She didn't answer because she didn't recognize the number.
Oh, she's called back?
Yeah, she called back.
Oh.
So I will tell her to just wait by the phone.
I obviously getting my kids off the bus.
That was me telling my mom.
170.
This is me telling my mom I'm just arrested.
What do I need? Like, so does she need to go to Stoughton?
She can, but like the LT said, we don't know about the L.
Okay.
So she's going to meet you there. Just, you know, it's going to be an hour. I mean, 2 hours. I'm going to meet you there in 2.5 hours.
Okay. I should be there. They said you could
By 11.
be there by
11.
Oh, it's like 1 hour.
Yeah, I'm just saying, you know, traffic. You don't know.
Yeah, they're taking me out here soon, and then they're going to the court there. I have no idea what this is even about. I read anything. Who knows? But
nothing. Where were you born?
Yeah, right after I dropped the kids off.
Hey, where were you born?
In Connecticut. So I'm in the Holden State Police Barracks right now for an hour. And yep. And
12:26, 81.
I have no idea what this is about, but I anticipated they might try this. So. Oh, you would think that, yeah. Yeah, I would. What? It's maximum 1,000, and I could just go to an ATM on there? Yes, there's a building called the District Court. I'm sure you do it.
Oh, in the system.
Fingerprints. I got shackles on the whole time too. There's Tully being a douchebag.
You have all the other IDs. Yep, I'm good. Okay, I'll put this away in his wallet. That's how that's.
I would say you're gonna hold it.
Yeah, I already went on my end.
Okay.
I had to take a leak, wicked bad.
Outside of your cell phone. You go ahead and carry this. Yes.
When you go to print, check the print.
Do it in here, didn't work. Inventory. So all that.
All right, let me find the part where they do the.
What do you need? I'm sorry.
My garage door opener.
The DLT of those guys, I've never dealt with anything like that.
What's the It's been 2 months now. 2 months.
Oh, they just want to ask about the Ford Edge. Here we go. I'm like, wait, I'm like,
You guys found that Ford Edge. Before yet. It's been 2 months now.
you guys find that Ford Edge or what? They're not talking. Nobody wanted to talk to me. I'm like, you guys find that Ford Edge? It's been 2 months. That's all I wanted to know about. I'm like, you got all this time, but you can't find the Ford Edge.
I'm just trying to think to get back in here on my phone.
No. I didn't realize I was back.
Oh yeah, you're back. You're still here.
Yeah, I didn't realize I was. I just was doing something else.
You're
What's
more
up?
than welcome to stay. I'm just playing some more of this video. I figured you were bored by it. If you want to stick around, feel for it. I'm just entertaining the masses with this. Because they give you all the, I mean, you know this, Mark. They give you all this stuff in Discovery. I don't know what I would do with it, but you're entitled to it. They just give it to you. I was just extremely bored.
Julianne's ID.
Her ID's in there?
Yeah.
Wait, her license?
Yeah. Just doing, we just do a basic inventory of all your personal items. Make a note, and then we put it all. And it's going to go with you and your personal property.
I have a license.
Yes. It's the active one. No, it's the expired one.
Okay.
Expired in September.
All right.
September 8th.
Yeah. Okay. I guess. Three hours. We've seen 3 hours before the cops on that.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Hold on. This is where I ask about the Ford Edge.
How will you determine which pictures? I mean,
Oh, yeah.
some stuff in there. Don't want to hands on inappropriate.
Then
You guys ever find who's driving that Ford Edge?
Tully, listen.
I'm just wondering.
I'm not going to talk.
I'm just wondering.
no, that's just yours. Okay.
He won't talk about the.
It's found 3 hours. We've seen 3 hours before the cops found that. So it seems kind of important. But I know this is a priority too, right?
Right now, I'm booking you, and you're in custody, so I'm going to try and get you out of there quickly as I can.
Let's do it.
He did not want to talk about the Ford Edge.
No.
You probably have to, I don't know, spin a while, log out, off the zone, don't click the mask, because right now you won't be able to. I'll take it out. Okay. Usually, you get a lot of people, that's bullshit. Hopefully within 20 minutes.
See a judge whenever you get in there.
Yeah, mercy.
Can you post bail?
No, me asking about bail. And for such a serious crime, I was held on $0 bail, like zero. Like the fugitive unit came to my house. Like you can just go home. It's not that big of a deal, but
Yeah.
We also don't know the amount.
7. Can you go over all the charges again?
all the charges.
Not Elizabeth.
To use is intimidation.
Is she being charged? Okay.
Opposed to, yeah, like, every time you eat Dini pizza, that,
September 28th, right, was denied?
I'm aware of that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Couldn't get an order.
Oh, this is I bring up to him. I'm like, well, Matt McCabe, Jen McCabe and Chris Albert both tried to get harassment prevention orders against me in the same court that is now I'm being brought to. The judge in both those cases denied them harassment prevention orders because they said that my speech did not amount to true threats or fighting words, but it was enough to get a felony. And that's what I'm asking him about here. And I'm like, wait a minute.
You know, Chris applied for one on September 28th, right? It was denied.
I'm aware of that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Couldn't get an order, but could get a charge. Gotcha.
I'm like, all right.
So I think it in for some answers. Now, you have to X out and go. X out. No. He was the on-call duty person at Skirmish Court representing. The person.
Hey, call. What was that? Okay.
He's restaurant.
Dr. Turtle.
Oh yeah. So this one I asked my aliases. Ready? This is good. This is the part.
Dr. Turtle.
All right, hold on. Hold on. I gotta find the mark. Hold on. Give me 1 sec. Come on.
Clarence Woods Emerson. Oh yeah, that's it. You got it.
Right.
I'll probably put that with the inventory.
Morella. M-A-R.
Kearney?
Yeah.
Mother with her maiden name?
Yeah. Mary Mulaney. Thank you.
Number of children?
2.
You're right. Good. Yeah. Even if I had just 2 of them. What's up? Any
Here.
tattoos?
No tattoos.
Any aliases?
Here we go. Ready?
Sure.
What is it?
Daddy.
He puts that in the report. He puts it in the report too. Oh. This all goes in the arrest report too. It's great.
And Clarence Woods Emerson. Oh yeah, that's it. You got it. Thank you.
I'll probably put that with the inventory.
Thank you.
All right. All right. So that's it. I just wanted that part. That was great. I when he said it, I'm like, he's not going to put this in the report, is he? And he did. He did.
No, that's crazy.
He did. So yeah. But
all right. I'm
all
gonna
right,
jump.
Mark. Well, thank you. Appreciate it. Sorry about that.
All right, no worries.
Have a good one, buddy.
All
Thank
right,
you.
take care. Bye.
All right, let me read some turtle chats here just to end the night because I have not been keeping up with the turtle chats, but I got a bunch I'm sure to read through here. All right. Danielle sends $10 and says, do you think maybe the feds have been in contact with the jury? No, I highly doubt it. Fubar sends $10 and says, g'day from Australia. Just got my House Long to Die hoodie. Thank you. G'day, mate. Suzanne sends 25 and says, Lally fears a retrial because he knows that Jackson, Yannetti, and Little can focus on and destroy the theory of the crime. I don't know. I don't think Lally fears that at all, to be honest with you. But thank you very much. I don't think Lally gives a shit because Lally's just like, whatever. I'm just going to make my cheese, go home and eat my cheese sandwich either way. Duckgate sends $50, says Chicken Palm Charlie called the cops about ducks being passed around at the pub crawl in Canton. He did. And I heard Bukaki was investigating that. He's on rubber duck duty. And I saw John Como down there today. I got to see the video. Someone sent me a screenshot of it. I got to see the video. That's got to be good. Sylvia sends $10 and goes, again, Doc, a shame of a background because their landscaping was absolute garbage. Oh, you mean the 34 Fairview. And then Proctor with his untailored baggy suit at the wedding. I know he looks so bad there. That was the style in 2012. What a bunch of chumps. Free Turtleboy. Thank you very much. Blanca sends $7, says, hello, can the jurors get an attorney and request to be heard? They could just be heard and talk. I mean, that's always an option too. Thank you. Donna sends $50 and says, again, if it were not for you, we would not know. Thank you for your unwavering commitment to justice. I lost my mother. I'm so sorry about that. I know the pain and grief. Well, thank you very much. I pray for you. You're a good man, and I'm certain you are a good son. I tried. I wasn't the best son. I mean, I had to call my mom. I call her in that video. I got to call my mom from the Holden Police Barracks. Hey, Mom. So, yeah, it's me. Just got arrested at the kids' bus stop by the state police. I'm facing how many felonies? 9 felonies and 4 misdemeanors. So sorry about. I don't know what the bail is going to be. I thought the bail was going to be like 100,000 or like something like that. It seemed real serious. And then Tully was like, they're going to ask for $1,000. I'm like, oh, so this is just a joke. This whole thing's a joke. I get it now. Okay. Well, thank you very much. Aaron sends $10, says slow and steady wins the race. You are the best tortoise. Let's see. Yeah. You are the best tortoise. Thank you very much. Lion Lindsay is the hair across all of our asses. I hate that she even gets any attention. You know what I mean? But thank you, Aaron. Melissa sends $5, says, I want to be poked by the turtle. No comment. Thank you very much. No, my poking days are done. You could poke the turtle. I wouldn't recommend it, but my poking days are done. Thank you very much. Danielle and all-time Tamira Harris. Holy cow. Sends $250. Ding, 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 ding. Love all your work, Dr. Turtleboy. You're a positive inspiration and everyone that seeks the truth. Free Fred Karen Reed. Thank you very much. That's very kind of you. Wow. Thank you. Oh, and a reminder. We got to announce the raffle winner. I mean, not raffle. There's no raffle. I'm just kidding. 60-40 charity giveaway. That's what it's called. Okay. Maureen and Jim send $10 and go free Karen Reed from County Kerry, Ireland. Thank you, Maureen and Jim. I appreciate that. Erin sends $5 as you are absolutely hysterical. Keep up the great reporting and fuck the McCabe's. Hashtag D&E Pizza needs to close. Thank you very much. Penny sends $10 says thanks for all you're doing. I think I read this one already. Okay, cool. Do we have any more here I missed? Okay, I think that's it for the turtle chats. Let me just read a couple cash apps to bang through here. All right. Lizney sends $7.69, sends Karen's first interview is owed to you. Thank you. I hope so. I would never say anything's owed to me, but I would hope that Karen Reed gives me the first exclusive interview. I think I've earned it. So we'll see what happens. But we're a long way from that because we have to do this stupid trial all over again. So, but I want like a sit down formal interview with her. You know what I mean? Not just like Miss Reed, answer a couple. I want like an hour with her. You know, I have a whole bunch of questions to ask Karen Reed. That would be a ratings freaking dude, you know how many subs we get for that? And I would do it live in person. We'd sell tickets to it. It would be fucking awesome. So let's make it happen, Karen. Let's do it. Krista, and you guys see my interview with that was probably my favorite interview I ever did with Rachel Uchital. Is that her announced last name? She's famous for dating Tiger Woods. I Googled her. She's got a podcast, a very popular podcast, I guess, called Misunderstood. And she brings on people who are misunderstood and get a bad name or a reputation. And so I thought she was a really good interviewer. She asked me good questions, and check that out if you get the chance. Krista sends $5 and says, I love the shirt, doctor. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that, Krista. They're available in the Turtleboy store. Leah sends $10 and has no comment. Thank you, Leah. Kyle sends $10 and says, Trump Kearney 2024, two badasses. I ain't never been shot. So he's got that above me, but I got no convictions either. You got convictions. So yeah, okay, cool. All right, so I think we're all caught up there. Let me do the 50-50 raffle, shall we? Let's do that. I mean, there's no raffle. There's no raffle. I'm just kidding. No raffle. There's no raffle. Okay, let's do it. Are you ready? Okay, she's ready. So, trying to think how to do this. So, a turtle rider named Jenny Estrada is the one that started this. We raised a total of $46.25. Okay, we raised $4,625, and so I'm giving 40% of that away to whoever I feel like. This is not a raffle. I'm just giving 40% of that money away, and that money totals. Let's see. That 40% of that is $1,850. $1,850. So, Jennifer, I see in the background, you see where it says present? See the button present? You're on a computer, I'm guessing? All right. If you go to present and then go to share screen. Okay. Hold on. I'll bring her on right now. I see her back there. How you doing, Jennifer?
Good. How are you?
Good.
I actually have my daughter's tablet that's all set up. So I'm trying to turn this camera around.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Trying
Cool.
to figure this out.
Let's do it that way.
How you doing?
I'm good. Thank you. How are you?
Good. Oh my God. You guys been awesome tonight. Mark Bederow, the best.
Well, yeah. Mark's great. We love having Mark on.
All right. I don't know how to turn this camera around. I'm just going to turn around the phone.
That's perfectly fine. Ghetto style. It's fine.
Ghetto as hell. I know.
Yeah.
I'm going to shuffle it a few times. Can you see that good, Turtle Boy?
Yeah, I can see it perfectly fine.
Okay. Just want to make sure. Let me just shuffle it a few times. Let's give it a few shuffles. There was 421 entries, Turtle Boy.
Excellent. Excellent.
Let's click on that. Pick.
All right. What is the name we got there? Linnea Mello. Linnea Mello. Okay. I don't know if that's how it's pronounced, but
Linnea Mello. Yep.
Linnea Mello. All right. Well, thank you very much, Jennifer,
Thank you, for
organizing that, and we really appreciate
it. And I'm sad that we couldn't pick up some more money, but I mean, Grant had to do the douche here.
Yeah, we overcame a lot. So I appreciate that.
Definitely. You have a good night, Turtle Boy. It was awesome tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, if you are Linnea or Linnea, I don't know how to pronounce that. Just please message me. I'm gonna send you a check for $1,850, and there you go. Okay. Again, that wasn't a raffle. It's just people donated 4,600 whatever to my defense fund, and I just felt generous, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna give $1,850 to someone. I don't know who, so I'm just gonna press this button and figure out who. But it had nothing to do with that. I mean, I just felt like giving money away. It had nothing to do with it. So it's not a raffle. Okay, raffles like where you pay money for a ticket. It's like gambling, but people donated to my defense fund, and I'm like, you know what? Merry fucking Christmas. I'm feeling a little generous. I'm just gonna give $1,850 to Linnea Mello because I like her a lot. So there you go. And I'll keep the rest because I need legal defense funds. So there we go. Anyway, it's not a raffle though. It's not a raffle, and I had nothing to do with it. So they, yeah. Okay, cool. All right, guys. Yeah, just giving money back to the. I'm like fucking Robin Hood up in this bitch. Just boom. Except I'm not stealing from the rich. Maybe I should. Okay. All right, guys. Anyway, yeah, exactly, Karen. I'll give money whoever I want to give money to, right? I'm going to end the show now because it's getting a little bit late, but good stuff tonight. Keep up the good work, folks. We are going to stay on this case. We got July 22nd. I need people there. We got to get boots on the ground because there's no more buffer zone. There's no more buffer zone. And if counter protesters want to show up and disrupt, they're free to. But as we've seen, they come for like an hour. And, you know, the Camel Toe Express comes in and then they lose their steam and then they go home. They look for attention and then they don't get much of it and then they go home. So that's what I recommend. We're actually passionate about our activism. So we'll be out there. All right. Anyway, guys, I'm going to go to bed. Talk to you later. Peace, Turtle Riders.